Hello, and welcome to Read and React, hosted by Fable Table. I am your host, Nick Bowen, doing my second intro because the pre-show text was still up the first time. Joining me as ever and reminding me that the pre-show text is on the screen is the lovely Shannon. Hi, Shannon.
Hello. Hi, Fran.
Hello. Today we are continuing our Read and React of Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. We're covering Book 5, The Butcher's Masquerade. Part 3, this time, The Unhinged Child. Last time we did parts 1 and 2. Next time we'll do part 4, but for now, The Unhinged Child. I have a question for you, Shannon.
Okay.
Who is the unhinged child?
I think it refers to multiple unhinged children within this entire chapter. As many things are revealed to us, I think it is Lucia, I think it is Tina, and I think it is Prepotente, all three of them. At different points as things are revealed throughout the course of this part of the book. So yeah, I think it's all three of them. I don't think it refers to any one in particular. So yes.
Yeah. I texted you, I think about a week ago that I would be asking you this question, and I told you that I had multiple characters in mind. I did not have Tina on my list, and I'm realizing that that was one of the more obvious ones. I have...
There is a point where she throws a temper tantrum because she can't eat Carl.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that doesn't... Well, anyway, go ahead.
Sure. I have two other unhinged children on my list.
Oh, yes, please.
I do have Lucia Mar. I do have Prepotente. I have also listed the AI.
Oh, that is interesting.
And Carl.
God damn.
Mostly
that is incredible.
Mostly because these are two of the most unhinged characters in the series, and they also, at least one of them we know directly is a child to another character we've seen, or heard about, in reference to Carl's past. And the AI we learn a bit about its background.
I feel
these chapters.
Stupid that I did not consider Carl as son of a fucker. Yeah, dude, he is. Oh God! Oh, you're so fucking smart.
We'll be talking about why all of these children are so unhinged.
They're fucking nuts. So, more.
This set of chapters, I think, upon reading for the third time, I'm feeling like some of these chapters are actually some of my most favorite chapters in the series, and I am saying that having read like up through book 7.
Okay, I was gonna say, did you read book 8 yet, or I haven't read it yet?
I have read some of book 8. And I know that because you haven't read any of it, I am like embargoing any talk about it. So I'm not sharing anything, even though I desperately want
Fair
to.
Enough. I know.
Yes, we will have our moment in the sun. But yes, there's some really, really big themes that I'm really excited to talk about in this. Kind of like how in the epilogue of, I think, book 4, when we kind of got that POV from some of the bounty hunters that were on the surface of Earth looking for Ferdinand and came across B. Yeah. We kind of got this insight into like how shitty the economy is for a lot of people, both because of their race and also because there's not enough like work to go around. That idea expands in these chapters in a very big way.
Yeah. I think it is predominantly tied to race, and I don't know that it has specifically to do with like not enough work to go around. I think there's plenty of work. The universe is a huge place. I think it's predominantly due to race that the null are considered, unemployable.
Yeah. Well, there's exposition in these chapters that directly state that around the galaxy, people think there is not enough resources to go around. Like, that is the mindset and is one of the motivating reasons the crawl exists. And it's a very small detail, but it has a big implication for the themes. I have written here, like, we'll be talking about empathy for everyone but the rich in a capitalist hellscape, including the hunters. I've written down existential Marxism and manufactured scarcity. And I've also hit on like the trauma of losing a parent as a major theme in these chapters, which is a major factor in unhinged children.
Oh man, you're not right. God, you're really you're laying it out there. Holy shit.
Yeah. So we'll get into it with these chapters.
Yes.
Last time we're on the hunting grounds. We Carl stuck it to the hunters and went and hit them where they weren't expecting, and is now being hunted. There are dinosaurs everywhere, and it's not as scary as we thought, but for the reasons we weren't expecting. And Carl is going to CrawlCon, and is being whisked away to his next 2 appearances right as they arrive in a new town that has already been claimed by a crawler. Which crawler? Lucia Marr, who immediately shows up behind them right as Carl is teleported away, and is one of the biggest cliffhangers in the series so far. It's really intense. And not only is it like a cliffhanger of a chapter, it's like this part is over. It was like moving away from Serena's Signet stuff, and it was just like end of arc. Yeah.
It was, and like, oh, it was so nerve-wracking because you can like so in these first couple, like in this first chapter or whatever, after he is whisked away to CrawlCon, Carl is full of panic and anger and rage, and he's just like, send me back, let me go back down there. And Zev very calmly is like, hey, she's alive. Like, she lets him know the most important thing. She's alive. He doesn't know what kind of alive can mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
She's alive, but she's hurt. She's alive, but like she's lost her limbs. She's alive, but like what? He doesn't know. And the fact that he is unable to know these things and that he doesn't have control over the situation is making him, I would think, this is like when Carl isn't able to discern, come up with a plan, figure out like what's going on in a situation, that's when he's at his most dangerous.
Right.
To himself and to everyone.
Right.
Not just like because he's like, oh, he's a badass crawler, and he comes up with like fun things to do and how to kill other NPCs and people and crawlers. Like, he's dangerous to himself.
Yeah.
In these moments.
But I think the key difference here is, so he like gets teleported to a space station again. I think this is the second time he goes up to space for a security check. With the Knoll security guards. He like is looking through the glass at Earth. He actually sees a humongous fire in India, like that he can see from space, which is really interesting. And he is not only panicking, but because he can't do anything, he feels helpless. And that is not something that we're used to him feeling.
Right.
Like he usually like can quickly think of a path forward, a solution, at least, a potential one.
I want to clarify. I know you said Knoll. I just want to make sure that like, because Knoll and Null sound very similar.
Yes.
Knoll meaning like they're kind of like
the
goblin like creatures. Like they're like dog goblins. And then yes, exactly. So like, yeah, they have like whiskers on their chins and stuff. And then the Null, Null, are like the Nullians, which are more like our grays.
Yeah, like Area 51.
With the big heads.
Classic.
Exactly, big head, little body, black eyes. So just to clarify that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like, they sound very similar, and I didn't realize that until you had said it. So
yeah. So Carl arrives. He's feeling the helplessness. The Knolls are like, he's like, please, you got to send me back. No. And then he's like tries to threaten the Knoll, and he's like, I don't care. And Carl can't do anything. Like there is no like getting back. Like he kind of goes through this like some stages of grief. He's like bartering and panicking and angry and blah, blah, blah. Anyway. And one of the gnolls asks him to, like, out of the blue, just like ask him like, hey, my grandpup is showing up in the contest. Will you look favorably on her? And I'll look the other way because we know that you're prone to stealing things from trailers, and I'll let you. And Carl's just like, what the fuck? I don't care about this. And the gnoll's just like, okay. And it eats up Carl because he doesn't hear from Zev for quite a while. And then Zev shows up. She's calm and she's like, wow, that was quite the fight. Donut is safe in the guild hall. We learn a lot of things from Zev here, actually, quite quickly. Donut is safe and in the guild hall. Security is tightening up with the Valte now in control of the crawl. Carl will not be sent back to Donut until after his second event, not immediately upon the ending of his first. And the second event is called it's a panel called Crawling Through the Ages. And she then says, crawlers, pets, or anyone else that might be waiting for you, blah, 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 will be there when you're transferred back. And it will be in his best interest to linger as much as he can, to trust her and to shut up. And she's very like
rest, train. She's like, you're going to want to take as much time for yourself as you can before you return. And he's reading between the lines. He's like, okay, so there's an ambush. Like, not only is there Lucy and Mar, there's probably hunters. Is it going to be Vra herself? Who else is going to be there? So we get the sense that Zev is doing literally everything she can to help him with information. And we also learn in these rooms specifically, because it is now a Valte ship that they're on, and it's and ownership is now has been reverted over to the Valte, that they are constantly under surveillance. Everything they say, even in the green rooms, even in the before times, the after times, like there is never going to be a point whenever he is outside of the crawl that they will not be witnessed. When their actions won't be recorded and then reported to another person. So she's like, I can't say a goddamn thing, Carl, and I know you know that, and I'm telling you this. So like he's putting it all together. He's like, okay, so like so then of course in Carl's mind he's like, I'm gonna have to, like, without this even being on the page, I just know he's like, I'll come up with another way to communicate with Zev. So in a way that isn't being monitored. Like, and he's just so good.
And this lands really well because there was the whole thing with Donut and Zev like manufacturing the overthrow or civil like uprising and like getting Valte in a position to take over the crawl. Like, we know she can work efficiently and effectively behind the scenes, even though we didn't actually see any of that, but it happened and it shocked us. So, you know, we get the sense that
behind the scenes
Zev will do
was
something
entirely in charge of. Yeah, absolutely. So not only is like Zev capable of duplicity, she's skilled at it. Not just capable, but like she pulled that shit off. But like she and Donut were able to communicate in such a way that like nobody fucking knew, dude. Nobody knew. They came up with their own system of talking to each other, which probably on the boards, like you and I had chatted about previously and was alluded to in the previous couple of chapters, but like amazing.
I know Matt Dinniman has talked about wanting to write like a series for Quasar, but I would love to get some POV chapters of Zev. That would probably be very interesting. Anyway,
so good.
So she kind of drops these hints and info bombs, and then she says, okay, and now for your first event you'll be judging a kids art contest, and try not to swear in front of the kids. Which grounds us in the humor once again, even though we are panicking along with Carl.
She's like, they are children, Carl.
And so Carl judges the children's drawing contest. We get this like really interesting scene where there's just this like low stakes competition because it's a children's art contest. And it's basically like a daycare-ish sort of thing at the crawl for parents to drop off their kids or go with their kids, and there's activities for children at the con. Anyway, but it's this like low stakes competition featuring a lot of the same sort of like cheating and palm greasing and threatening that we see among like the crawl and corporate other bullshit. But it's happening here too. And we're kind of like, it's been flipped on us because Carl is the one whose palm is being greased by the Knoll to help his grandpa. So, but like throughout the scene, we see a lot of other races of species of aliens and people. Carl notices that there are many that like he's seen before, but that aren't present. He suspects it's because they're either like species that this sort of space isn't being made like universally accessible to, like Kuatin and other water-based life forms. Or they are species that are on the fringes of society, like the Knolls and the Kuatin themselves as well. Like he doesn't see any of them here. He is joined on the panel by an asshole Bactrian author of a play that is performed by NPCs at Larakos, the major city on the 9th floor, for tourists that visit the 9th floor. The character feels like some sort of asshole washed up screenplay writer. It's very funny. Like later in the scene, he's like completely fallen asleep and someone else in the room with him is pressing the judging buttons.
There's like a hand, like a phantom hand.
It's very
that
funny.
Is like reaching out beyond his fucking unconscious head and just pushing the button to like rate things.
Yeah. It's very funny. I also love the disparity of like the Bactrian himself is rating everything low, and then once he passes out, the hand is like rating everything really high.
Everything gets a 30. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then the other panelist is a guy named Herc. I think, if I remember right, he's like kind of like a gelatin oozy type of person. He is.
I don't remember.
Oh no! Like. I'm sorry. He is a gleaner, which is like a larger human-sized fish person. He's very jovial, and he is the designer of the Desperado Club. It's interesting. Carl asks him what he thinks about the crawl and what's going on for his situation specifically. And Herc's like, I'm sorry to say, I only watch the highlights. I don't engage with the crawl. And it's very interesting because we don't really get like an explanation. Is he disgusted by it? Is he an artist who doesn't? It's like, you know, an actor that doesn't like to watch like films because they don't. Movies, they don't want to be exposed to and like leak into their art form. It's so like
how the sausage is made.
Yeah, it's very interesting. They end up being like voting favorably for the Knowles grandpup, the security guy's grandpup. And Herc twists Carl's arm and says, I'll vote well, but only if you start like talking up the Desperado Club. It's very funny that just like the mechanics of how people call on favors for one another and how it's happening here. And we've been bemoaning it happening with the crawl. The grandpop's drawing is, quote, it's my pup pop, the kid said. He's helping rid the universe of tax avoiding scum, which is just like, oh, we were expecting a cute little child, and they're clearly brainwashed. Carl,
but every picture that Carl votes on is literally like a picture of him getting murdered in the dungeon by
or other crawlers,
or other crawlers. It's like it's horrifying. Anyway, sorry.
Carl points out like everyone's gonna know that it looks like a fix because the drawing is just like a Crayola drawing, basically, of like stick figures, basically. And it's very fitting that nothing here is being challenged or called out for the fix besides like some grumbling like participants and parents. Yep. Feels very fitting. Some children
are very talented and some children are very not.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always correlate to like who gets the biggest rating. So,
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, the favor, Carl ends up doing the favor for the Knoll, and Herc shares as kind of like a quick foreshadow that the panel Carl is going to be on later is moderated by the mother of one of the hunters that he killed. Which is a nice like building of tension right at the end of the chapter. We cut to Zev in the green room looking at the drawing by the Knowles grandpup and just like shocked and confused about why they voted on it. And she's just like, I don't get it. Which is funny because Zev is also literally in the midst of like doing moving favors around and outmaneuvering to try and help Carl while Carl is doing the same thing to help himself. But Zev continues to share, like, yes, your panel is going to be held with the mother of one of the hunters, a mantis called Cersei Took, who is the mother of Zindi, who Carl killed in what's the name of the city? Zoraco. Yeah, I think she was the one flying above, casting the light spells that the drunk guy pointed out that Carl killed, I think, first. And it was her first hunt. And this is also the legendary hunter Vraz's sister, the one who's the leader of the most badass hunter group who has like 1,000 kills to their name. From the hive that we've seen on the recap, killing crawlers left and right with ease. So it's just building lots of great tension. Carl asks to just go back right now. Zev says, Zev doesn't even say no. She just ignores him and claims that Donut is okay and not the one in danger, but that she can't give any more details. Which is, I think, nice. That Carl's like, yep, I'm going to be the one in danger. And it kind of refocuses him, as we'll see in these next couple chapters, as to like what he is preparing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, Donut's safe. I'm not safe. I have to figure out how I'm going to come through this. Yeah, absolutely.
And that recontextualizes like why are we lingering? Because you're the one that needs to prepare, not Donut.
Which is really kind of like in this instance, like I feel like Carl's primary focus, like almost always, is like he gives the orders. He comes up with a plan. He's like, hey, this is how this part of the plan is going to keep Donut safe. And once that is executed, then I can focus on myself. So like it's different, right? Like when Donut is taken out of the equation and he's just like, oh shit, it's just me. Like, so maybe he might be willing to do something crazier or even more dangerous than what he normally would consider doing because Donut is no longer a part of the equation. Oh.
Sorry.
Did something fall? What was that?
Yes. My fiance just dropped something. I will fix that later. Okay. Okay. Ironically, immediately after Zev says, Carl, you need to focus on yourself because you're the one in danger, Carl asks, Zev, how are you doing?
Yeah, like
he
genuinely means it too.
Yeah, I think he's sincere. And this is nice because without Donut here being the one to ask, hey, Zev, how are you? It lands really well. Like Carl is asking Zev. Like for a long time, he just did not give a shit about Zev because, she was his enemy because she was a part of the machine. But, it has become.
Absolutely.
It's become apparent that she's a crawler, and it's reinforced here because she's like, I'm not doing well. I'm holding up the best I can. I expect to be executed as a traitor after the crawl is over, much like my family, who have all been slaughtered because I refuse to wear a Bloom Party pin.
Yeah, exactly.
She is putting her head down and focusing on her work and just doing everything she can to like help the forces that she aligns herself with, like Carl. And it very much, reinforces here, like she is a crawler too. This is like the stakes are as high for her. So the Knowles show up and drop off. Not only are they, sorry, one second.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. The Knowles show up, and not only do they allow Carl to steal anything, they drop off a door. And it's a teleportation, like a portal to an ultimate training room. It's like a level 4 training room or level 5 maybe, which he now has access to for the next 4 hours. We get to see Carl go in there. It's really, really good. There's like a full like AI system instead of just like a canned response bot responding to things, but it's like helping him make bombs and crafting other items and like giving him tips on his like fighting technique. It helps him a lot.
He's like, I'm thinking of creating this bomb, but I don't know if I have the right, components to make it, and this is what I'm thinking of. And the NPC is, or the AI port thing that is helping him is like, oh, you don't have the right components for that. But what if we focused on this instead? You could do this. And he's like, his eyes kind of like go all like, oh, like the cat looking at the Christmas tree. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like all big. Like, he's like, holy shit, we gotta have this thing for our fucking training room. Like, oh my god, like he's realizing because he can ask it questions that he would ask or look up in the anarchist cookbook and receive answers for it. And it would give him plausible deniability as to how he learned how to do the things that he learned how to do from this AI. Where he doesn't have to explain it or say like, I just thought of it. I pulled it out of my ass. You know what I mean? Like
it's really interesting that Carl's always like struggling to figure out how and when to like naturally invent whatever he learns from the cookbook. This should have been an excuse that he uses down the line, and he never references it again.
I know, but it was just a one-off thing, and he only had like a couple of hours. So like I understand like why he wouldn't feel comfortable doing that, but like it is.
Yeah, it's anyway, very helpful.
Yeah. So the
Carl,
fact that they let him use this training room, instead of one that was at his own level within the dungeon, is honestly remarkable.
Yeah, and it really like snaps into focus. Like, I don't actually even know if Zev had anything to do with the Gnolls. I suspect maybe. Probably, but the whole like it would be in your best interest to linger really seems to like come into focus what like why that is like with this. And there's other reasons too that we're coming up to. After the couple hours of training, Carl is taken towards the panel discussion, and on the way Carl learns that the room he was assigned to kind of like join the call from got shuffled so that someone named Dr. Ratchet, who he briefly meets, could use that space instead. We get exposed to various enhancement zones, including something called a zero zone, where Carl experiences all of the enhancements from the dungeon go away, like his strength, his intelligence.
He feels weak.
Yeah, he feels really weakened. He also suddenly can't read Syndicate Standard, except he can pick up some of the words, which means he has been like retaining some of what he's been experiencing of the standard language. Very interesting. And it kind of speaks back to like the conversation he and Katya had so long ago about like what does it mean that these enhancement zones can like teach people things. Well, this is, it kind of gives you some insight into like it's still creating opportunities to learn even once it disappears. Has a very interesting implications.
He said that it was like a language that he had known a long time ago that he just hadn't spoken in a while.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that has something to do with his chosen race of primal.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, we don't know if Syndicate Standard,
my assumption,
is built on primal stuff. Well, no, probably not, because the Syndicate and Galactic community existed before they ever discovered the primals. So anyway.
Yeah, but it's been around long enough that I wonder if the Syndicate Standard has evolved to the point. Anyway, we can get into this later, but like anyway, that was my assumption.
It's interesting. It's not really like discussed or answered, but it's just interesting to think about. So the Gnolls get Carl to his new room. They pull up some chairs and start smoking some illicit drugs. And talk about how excited they are to have a front row seat to Carl's panel. There's been all this like tension built up of like, oh, this is going to be really explosive, and everyone in the galaxy is looking forward to this panel because it's going to be Carl face to face with the mother of a hunter he killed.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and then the next chapter begins, chapter 33 begins with a note from cookbook author Rosetta that simply says, like, never trust mercenaries.
Yeah.
And that's it. This, I've been calling them security guards. That's what they are. Those were mercenaries,
Yeah, they're
hired
mercenaries.
as security. It's not clear whether Rosetta means like mercenaries that you can buy in the crawl or mercenaries like in the galactic community. Probably both. It's funny that there's no context, but given that it's that excerpt is being placed right here, I think we know who not to trust. So Carl, like a bot joins Carl and like starts introducing him to all of his fellow panelists who he can see on stage, but they cannot see or hear him, but he can see it and hear them. There is Uptown Hal, a crawl tactics talk show host, Sydney, a crawl historian, Drick, a former crawler of the Dream, which is one of the like government communities, but who is now like or was but is now someone who's possessed by a Volte worm. The three panelists start talking strategy about what Carl should do when he gets back, and they're talking about it like, oh, we know Carl can't hear us. It's too bad. If only he could hear what we were saying. And they also at one point mention like, oh yeah, Cersei, the host, is going to be late, I hear, even though she is always prompt to always show up on time to everything. So weird, huh? Which is just like, oh, this is all like help that is being manufactured and
So
designed.
I didn't quite get that it was manufactured and designed. Maybe Hal was aware of it. Maybe Dirk was aware of it. I get the impression that the gal who was the author of the book,
Sydney, yeah,
pertaining to Sydney, I get the impression that she genuinely wasn't aware of it, but I think
correct.
Dirk may have known what was going on.
I
Maybe
think
even
it's,
Hal did, but I
I
don't think he. I think
yeah,
Dirk was the most aware,
I
which is
think
why
it's
he looked
Drick.
directly at, or is it Drick? Thank
It's
you.
Drick, but
Drick.
Dirk is
My
funny.
bad. My
Yeah.
bad. Sorry. I think it was Drick who was probably the most aware of what was actually happening because he looked directly at the empty space where
Yeah.
Carl would have been and almost looked directly at him
Yeah.
and was saying, like, I think Carl is, blah, blah,
I,
blah. So,
I'm
like,
yeah.
maybe because he's a Belte, he could see that Carl was there. We don't know. That's
I
the
have no
thing. Like,
idea.
well, I don't know what kind of wetware that dude has.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
I
very,
don't
very
know.
interesting.
I think the fact that they're like Cersei's going to be late even though she's never late is really just a nod to like this time that we have to talk in front of Carl is an opportunity that's been created. Um
Yes,
yeah.
I would
But
agree with that. Yeah,
But then
absolutely.
but then Carl then appears to all of them. He shows up, and then so does Cersei. It starts explosively. Carl gets like swung at by her, destroying the table in front of him that is present at the Kron, not the table in his room. It does like kind of shock Carl how fast it happens.
Yes.
There's like comments throughout these chapters that talk about like the mantises are like evolved and designed to kill. They are
Yeah.
literally hunter like
Yeah.
creatures, hunting creatures.
That is like their prime objective. Like when you look at them, like he takes a moment to describe their bodies, the way that their eyes
Mhm.
focus on things.
Yeah,
The
it's
like their
intense.
their arms are like blades. Like they are hunters designed
Yeah,
evolutionarily to kill prey.
yeah,
And everyone in the universe is prey compared to these creatures. So like yeah,
yeah.
it's
And
it's
and
very
Carl
moving.
admits that even like in an enhanced zone, he might not have been able to dodge that attack. It was like so
Yeah,
fast.
it just
Um,
happens so fast. He says that he wants to say that like the reason he was cool, calm, and collected about like whenever Cersei attacked his hologram is that he just didn't care. He was that good, but really it just happened so
it
fast
happened so fast he didn't
that if they
even
were in the
register
same
it.
room,
Yeah,
no, it happened so fast. If they were in the same room, he would have been split in half. And I love that. What a great
yeah.
detail.
They start shit talking each other, Carl and Cersei. They
Uh-huh.
argue. Carl gets more and more aggressive. And then Cersei just decides suddenly and abruptly to just start the panel and cut off the bullshit. She's like, okay, I'm the host. I will be leading the discussion. And then she just monologues and talks about the history of the crawl. We get like the first couple things she says, and then maybe another excerpt. There is actually some really interesting stuff here. And it's very interesting that it's coming from a character that we like objectively hate because of how adversarial she is with Carl. But there's like some really interesting lore that clarifies why the crawl exists and why people are okay with it. Although that we also get the note that Sydney, the crawl historian, is like huffing and scoffing at a lot
Very
of the
much
details.
disagrees.
So we have like a character basically telling us that we have an unreliable source of information. So we're not really sure how much we're getting is true. But basically, I'm going to read a part of this. When the original Council nations first accidentally tripped the primal engines, those are the things at the center of planets that were created, that then an AI gets loaded into and then like controls the space around it. When the first nations accidentally tripped the primal engines, they accidentally started them and started the chain reaction that overpopulated the galaxy. It was eventually decided that we needed to both collect the primal elements left behind on the preceded worlds and to beat back the new biological overgrowth. So it's like we accidentally created too much life, and there's not, and like, and a like humongous need for resources. And
Okay, so I have some questions about this part of it, because I noted that too. Does that mean that the AIs then, once their triggers were tripped, began creating like organic life on these seeded worlds that were tantamount to NPCs? Like actual human beings that were basically NPCs?
No. So my understanding from I think an earlier book is the primal engines basically have an operating system loaded into them that like creates a planet and nudges life along.
Oh, so it's habitable for life, but it doesn't specify what kind of life.
No. And then for the crawl, they replace the operating system with an AI. Which we'll get to some of the details of what happened with Earth later. But from this set of chapters and some previous book stuff, that's what I've gathered. All of the AI and primal stuff comes really drip fed, but it's also very dense, so it's kind of hard to piece together, I've noticed. But having reread a lot of them like in quick succession, I've kind of been tracking a lot of it and putting it together. Anyway, Cersei goes on to talk about how the Mantids are like the race that are on the bleeding edge of primal tech and developing enhancement zone technology. So she's been monologuing for quite a while, and Carl just mockingly like drops his head, slamming it on the table, and congratulates Cersei for boring him and the crowd to death, which is hilarious. She's like, "What are you doing, Carl?" And he's like, "You've killed me. Congratulations, you've done it." She tries to cut off Carl as he just like shit talks her, but a mysterious cloaked woman in the back corner arrives and stops her from like cutting a hit off his microphone and ability to talk. It's really confusing like how this robed person has the authority to do that, but apparently they do. She reveals, the robed woman, that she is one of Carl's sponsors, which he suspects is someone from the apothecary, and is also a sponsor of the CrawlCon and thus has the authority to allow him to speak despite Cersei's interventions. And then
she wants to cut him off. And the reason why she wants to cut him off, I think, is right before that happened, he's like, "Hey, let's crowdsource a problem I'm having. How do I kill Vra?"
Yes. So really quick before that, there's an important detail. Carl goes, "Who is that?" And then he pulls a Louis and calls her. He says, "Who is that? She's kind of hot."
Oh yeah. At which point he realizes that the fucking mercenaries left behind their weird vape pen that it was like it's still streaming smoke, and he's like connecting the dots. He's
He's
like,
being
this is
drugged. Never
exactly
trust
he's being drugged.
mercenaries. Yeah.
Never trust mercenaries. It's the exact same thing as the treats that were left for Donut on a Dutch show. Like they
Right.
enhance something, or it's like
They
he's really
remove inhibition and like just loosen up
correct.
crawlers because like
Yeah.
these are people fighting for their life and perpetually
It
in a
can be
state of fight or
stressful to go on
flight.
a TV
But now we
show.
need them to
Exactly.
be like you know
Charismatic. We need
a
them to be
personality. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So he realizes all of it at the same time, and he's like, do I fight against this? He's like, I don't give a shit. And then he just goes fucking off. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
magnificent.
Yeah. So he asks how to kill Bra. The crowd is like, they like shock and gasp, including Cersei,
Yeah.
who I think was like
Yeah.
about to leave, but then she like stops. And
Yeah.
he goes on to point out, and he's done this, on Audette's show and everything, but he's like, it is so fucked up that you all like come together to celebrate the killing of like people and like theory craft and discuss as like a fan base, what would be the best way to kill Carl? What would be the best thing for Carl to do to kill these hunters?
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucked up because
Like,
clearly all these hunters have outside information and know where I'm going to show up and what they know everything about my tool set and what I'm able to do and what I'm theory crafting. I just want to have the same information as those trying to kill me.
right, exactly. And he's like, it's fine. It's just a crawler, right? Like, I'm not a real person, but you're all sentient, real people. You understand that what is happening is wrong.
Right.
And like, and he's just kind of like, he's digging that point in. And then at one point during this realization, like while he's saying these things out loud to the crowd, we get the, like, just a few little seeds here and there, and soon you have a forest.
Yes.
And it harkens back to that thing that his mother was always saying to him about dropping a few seeds here and there. Like what I would like to point out, I don't think that at any point during this part of while he was drugged and his inhibitions were like dampened, did he mention the river or the rushing water? He didn't mention it at all. So it's just he realizes, like, he's like, hey, this is an audience, right?
Yeah.
This is a big audience.
Yeah, he's playing up the gather sympathy and reframe the crawl. Yeah. It's his anarchist self coming through. So yeah. So he proceeds to crowdsource, and as Cersei's about to leave again, Carl's like, Cersei, if you want to come over and contribute, you're more than welcome. And she threatens him and storms out.
Yeah.
And
not only him, she threatens anybody in the crowd
who
gives him information. She's like, I'll find you and I'll hunt you down.
Right.
And like after she leaves and the tension is broken somewhat, people start shouting things out to him that could be very helpful.
And we get a few details, and then we like cut ahead to him after the panel. So we kind of get to skip over a lot of the like ideation and chatting with the people. There is a flashback, I think, immediately in the next chapter, and maybe even during the combat that we get to see coming up. But we get to skip all that. But he has like a few minutes left before getting teleported back. And I think he's teleported back to the green room, and there's just like a brief flash of his UI, and he can see messages from different people, and it's a lot of the same stuff that he actually just learned from the crowdsourcing about what the situation on the ground is. Most interestingly, of all of the information he receives, Lucia Marr has placed traps in like the antechamber of the safe room that can teleport crawlers out of their attempts to get into their safe room. And she is and waiting for him in the room, like his green room, that he had to leave for Dr. Ratchet, is a level 5 automaton table and a book, Dr. Ratchet's Guide to Automatons, which he takes. And it's like there's been like so many little things and big things set up for him to like provide him resources both for the immediate and for the future. Like this automaton table is going to be huge, should he be able to use it. There's a flashback at the start of chapter 34 with a flashback to the crowdsourcing of ideas and learning about there is like a detour in the chat, which is about some philosophy of various groups out there in the universe, which is actually some of my favorite stuff here. We learn that there is not only mantid hunters coming for Carl and waiting for him, but also nebular hunters. The nebular are not like a race, but a religious cult.
Religion.
Yeah. That believe that that seeded planets are an abomination. And it's kind of rooted in the notion of like that whole like there's not enough resources to go around and we accidentally created all this life through primal tech, so we need to like, you know, those new planets don't get priority, we do. They are pacifists, but they also hunt crawlers like a crusade. They believe, and this is really key here, they believe scarcity breeds competition, which breeds violence, which breeds chaos. Scarcity breeds competition, which breeds violence, which breeds chaos. We learn from Drick that their key tenet is violence breeds chaos. From chaos we are born, and into chaos we will succumb. I'm going to be talking a lot about this ideology in these chapters and later in the series. Ironically, these feel like a Robot Donut quote. The void is hungry.
A little bit. The void is hungry. I also want to point out that we very briefly learned about the goddess of chaos in the previous, was it in the previous book, I believe?
Yes.
There is a brief, like chaos is being thrown around a lot more in these ones, and I do think that has a lot to do with the goddess of chaos. Like,
you are
truly
referring to, I believe, Eris, the goddess of chaos, who so far has been mentioned once in book 1 in the Krakaren character or like monster description. It is specifically stated that Krakaren is so like insane that even Eris, goddess of chaos, wants nothing to do with her.
But also, like, okay, if we take that and then we use that logic to who's the apothecary is also the real life version of the quote unquote Krakaren, like who is a sponsor of Carl, one. And then we're seeing all of these, like, and nothing comes of this just yet, but like there are a lot of mentions of chaos.
Yeah, chaos is becoming a theme very quickly.
A big thing. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you pointed that out. So it's almost like, without the book saying it, the Nebular are almost like an antithesis of the Apothecary, who are one of Carl's sponsors. And we don't really see much of the Apothecary, but we do know that they're closely aligned with the goat people. I'm forgetting their name, but they are crazy and weird.
The Plenty.
Yeah, the Plenty. They're chaotic in a whole different way, just because they're good, like goat people that are screaming and look like demons. Anyway, so this was like a kind of a setup for this idea of chaos and the nebular ideology, which is very interesting. People seem to very much think the nebulars are weird and strange themselves. Ironically, a lot of characters align in their thought process with the nebulars, which is very interesting, I find. We then flash forward to Carl, like literally preparing with minutes before he's teleported. He's in the chat, like texting with everyone, like Donut and Katya. He's like, I have a plan. Here's what we're doing. And like, he's just chatting with them for a couple pages. And then with seconds to go, he's like still piecing his plan together. And then a strange calm descended onto me. There was nothing peaceful about the sudden warmth that spread through me. Still, that was the sense I had. Calm. In the back of my mind, that feeling of movement. The hidden river raged. This is where you belong, Carl, the river said. Jump into the rapids. Embrace the chaos. I'm getting chills reading this, by the way. What is the river? I'm going back to my what is the river tab. Chaos. Jump into the river! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! The river is chaos. It is the notion of just jumping into. We've seen him talk about like moments full of potential as also like when the river shows up.
Is chaos not also full of potential though?
Yes. Yeah. It's like potential energy.
Chaos,
yeah.
Exactly. It can be, this is the thing, this is what I love about it though, is that like chaos isn't, it's not inherently evil. It's not inherently bad. It's not inherently good. I think most people tend to associate chaos with negative outcomes, but sometimes chaos can result in favorable outcomes depending on where that chaos is directed towards, right? So like, it's just, yeah, what is the river? It is chaos. And this is just one of those things, like, just because we haven't seen or directly interacted with the goddess of chaos, Eris, at this point, up till this point in the series or the story or whatever, doesn't mean that she or it or whatever isn't directly influencing Carl as her agent at this point.
Right. Yeah.
We
still know so little about the gods and their effects. Like we've seen a bit, like some very structured stuff with worship and boons and smites, quests, showing up when other gods show up or when feral gods show up or demons show up. Yeah. Yeah, so Carl is feeling chaos, but it's peaceful when he is feeling chaos. Yeah, it's the space he thrives in. And actually, we're about to, in a moment, we learn that Drick, I think at one point, is like, Carl should just create chaos. That is where he thrives. That should be his plan, is create chaos. And that's sure what he does. Chapter 35 starts with Carl teleporting back. He literally teleports into a door, and then gets snapped out of it. And he feels as if he's been like smacked by the door,
punched in the face. Yeah.
This moment reminds me of one of my favorite moments from Stargate SG-1 during the Groundhog's Day episode when Colonel O'Neill and Teal'c are stuck in a time loop, and Teal'c's moment of starting the day over is getting a door smashed into his face by someone who opens a door really fast, and there's nothing he can do about it.
I love Teal'c. Now I need to like rewatch this. I can't believe it's been so long since I've seen it, but like I think I need to rewatch this series.
Yeah, they were gonna reboot it, and then they decided not to just a couple weeks ago. It makes me sad. Carl gets smacked by a door. He leaps to the side, hits his invisibility potion, and drops smoke curtains everywhere. And within a split second of him doing that, there is a mantis that strikes where he was standing.
It was like less than inches away from like just skewering him. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a nail biter of a chapter full of combat. There are so many different spells and tools and strategies that we've seen in other like encounters that are all like linked together. There's like Tripper setting off a bunch of shit. There's Clockwork Bomos coming out. There's him using Sticky Feet to run up a temple while invisible. There's him using his alarm spells with loud music to fuck with the mantids that are very sensitive to auditory stuff.
Which he learned from the con, by the way.
Yep. Okay. He uses a bloodlust potion on some hunters to get them to kill each other. And
I think the bloodlust potion is the most noteworthy
so good
because it helps him when he marks the person that he hits with the bloodlust potion. He then marks her intended targets with the Ring of Divine Suffering.
Yeah,
and
it's
then he
really
levels
good.
up his skills. It's an incredible chapter. I totally understand why you're kind of like glossing over some of this. It is just like a
It's
heavy
really
combat
good.
chapter,
It's
but
really good.
it's worth reading for sure. But yeah, like so
It's
once that has
especially at the
passed,
start, it's very tense. Like, how is
correct?
this going
Yeah,
to go? How is it going to begin? Carl uses
absolutely.
his tools to figure it out.
Yes.
Another thing that's really interesting is that Samantha let herself be captured by Vra, who's been like impaling skulls on her like pauldron spikes. And
Yes.
Samantha has been done this and in an attempt to do counterintelligence by feeding the wrong information to the hunters. It's very funny and stupid. She's like, I let them think they were torturing me, even though I can't be hurt.
Right. Like they would like slap her, and she'd be like, "Ah," like it
yeah,
hurt. Yeah.
yeah. Carl will appear right there. I told them a couple feet in the wrong direction.
You're
Yeah,
welcome. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Terrific. But I think Vra also is aware that because Samantha, like somehow Vra knows that Samantha's a part of his party,
yeah.
is aware that Samantha's probably going to be feeding also like not only the wrong information, but information back to Carl. So like
Right.
she
Yeah.
loses Samantha relatively early on in the fight,
Right.
and then comes for him without her.
Yeah. A bit like the pacing and structure of the chapter works really well because after some of like the initial like like how the field develops, we then get like Carl like reflecting on the panel discussion and how he had come up with a plan at the panel, but in the back of his head he was creating a different plan based on the one that he is outwardly communicating because that is him doing counterintelligence and
Right.
like he has his actual plan. um it allows him to completely avoid Lucia's teleportation traps and some other very big mistakes that he might have made
Right.
by doing the crowdsourcing and the disinformation. They trick Lucia using some of um Bautista's Beanie Babies as a stand-in for Donut, which is very funny. Also in the battle, the temple Carl was
Yeah.
standing on, he falls through it and breaks the altar, desecrating it, which has some implications later on. And
Yes.
then after that, he goes face to face with Bra as he exits, and his teleportation or his invisibility potion runs out. Um, so they face each other. She calls him a worthy opponent, and reminds her of what real battle feels like for the first time in a long time. And he's like, "Well, I think you're a cheater." So that's how they think about each other. Uh, they're still facing one
I love it.
another, and Carl sees that Langley, the archer friend that he made on the previous floor, his head is on her pauldron. Yeah. He apologizes to Langley, and then thanks him for his help, which causes Bra to go, huh? And then Donut reanimates the heads on her pauldrons with second chance, distracting her as they bite on her neck. It's amazing. And then Carl runs up to her while she's distracted and stabs her with the arrow of enthusiastic double gonorrhea.
Chekhov's gun has gone off.
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I think I probably just spiked all of the audio. I don't know if anybody ever heard that.
No,
I'm
that
sorry.
was perfect.
I said Chekhov's gun has gone off. Oh my God. We fought because we were introduced to the, enthusiastic double a gonorrhea earlier in the book. And like if you see this arrow occur so many times in a very small amount of time, that gun is gonna go off, motherfuckers. And it finally did. And it couldn't have happened to a nicer gal, like couldn't happen to a better lady. Oh no. So like
so good. Yeah, it's kind of really unceremonious. He stabs her and then runs away. Like I don't think we get to see much of what's going on with it because he's like I got to get out of here. He dives into the safe room. Waiting just inside the door is the big bomb that he had made for Zakao, but they decided not to use. The bomb called "Just wait until your daddy gets home." He proceeds to, with his foot, kick it outside before slamming the door, blowing up Lucia's town.
Yep.
We learned that
everything rumbles for
everything
a long time.
rumbles.
It's a big motherfucking bomb that he made.
Yeah. We learned that Lucia and Vra barely escape with their, like, they have eject spells that send them far away, but get them out very quickly. Carl quickly realizes Vra is probably heading to Zakao to get rid of her gonorrhea. Because he knows that there is one male mantis in their party, and one of the ways to get rid of it is to either castrate yourself or pass it on to someone else.
Well, castration is not a possibility because Vra is the next Hive Queen in the way that Cersei is the Hive Queen now, and her sister Zindi was meant to take Vra's place as like the head hunter.
Right.
You know, in these things. So basically, Vra is meant to now be the new Hive Queen and become like a broodmare for the next however many tens of thousands of mantis offspring, as Cersei is now. So like it's
there's a lot of
there's a whole lot of
sociopolitics built into the Hive. I think they're Dark Hive,
correct,
which is not the only hive we know of, and in fact, Dark Hive is not like the main government of all the mantises, which we're actually about to learn about.
Important to note that we have not spoken about yet is that the Dark Hive is tantamount to the Disney family.
Yes.
In that they own a branch of amusement parks that is wildly popular. So like they're very wealthy. They're not just wealthy, like they're like the ultra wealthy. They're like those assholes that rented that fucking submarine and then imploded on the ocean floor. So like they're just like super wealthy, but they're not dumb. They're strategic. And this is one of the things that is most notable about their race, and that they are like they're strategic, they're incredibly intelligent, and they are fantastic hunters.
There's a movie where there's like a monologue or something where some like businessman's like, well, I have this like farming company and I'm gonna use the proceeds from that to invest in a shipping company, and I'll use the proceeds from that to invest in oil company, and then I'll use that to invest in transportation, and then I'll use that to invest in the hotel business, and then and it becomes this big cycle. Well, the mantises are on the bleeding edge of a lot of like the primal and enhancement field technology, but they also have this amusement park, and it seems like they might be well diversified as a group.
Correct.
Yes, which is interesting.
This is one of the most incredible things. Anyway, like overall, just my guests were flabbered. But okay. And another thing, I just want to say really quickly. I'm sorry. Like, yes, he stabs her, and then he stabs her with the arrow of enthusiastic double gonorrhea that he got from the dream. Yes, and then he fucking dips,
which are elves, I think.
Yes, the bald-headed, like very pale-skinned elves.
Yes.
And then he dips, which P.S. Thank God, because this is the thing. Okay, this is not Lord of the Rings. Somebody's not going to stab and then wait for their enemy to rally and then fight back. Carl's a goddamn genius where this is concerned. He's like, I'm going to do this terrible thing, and then I'm going to fucking dip because I want to live and survive. I don't care how underhand it is. I don't care. It's like it's tantamount to kicking someone in the breadbasket, or hitting them
it's literally that,
and then running. And you know what? There's no such thing as honor in war, and I don't care what anybody has to say about it. If I can inflict the most amount of damage to my enemy and then get out of there and live, I'm a living coward. I don't give a fuck.
Carl
is smart. Carl is very smart in this moment.
I can see Carl being like, if you don't want me to quote break the rules, don't give me the tools to do it, like he said on the previous floor with the Gate of the Feral Gods.
Yes,
So
100% yes.
So he knows that Bra needs to go find her male party member. So he sends Bomo. So remember, Bomo still, if Bomo opens their door, it still opens to Zockow. Like he is linked as that is his portal. So he sends Bomo out to Zockow with a letter, with an offer of exchange. And then we get like a little bit of a downtime chapter while they wait in the safe room. Carl and Donut are joined by Katya and her crew, who they're like still up to their own adventure, going after Eva and everything. Carl notes that he's been missing out on a lot. Their levels are going up. Katya and Bautista appear to be in a relationship. Eva has been recruiting and taking over other crawler parties. Donut receives a vocal coach, which is great, to work on her bard spells. Carl receives a new tattoo for being an enemy of the church for defiling the shrine of Dewata, who is like a kind of a druidic nature god.
Who sometimes will mate with forest creatures and then eat her own offspring and then poop mountains. She's fucking weird.
But then also gender bends to like,
sometimes
and might like
impregnate
herself or
exactly.
Whatever. Yeah, it's very weird.
Very odd.
Yeah. So Carl is advised because of the tattoo to steer clear of dryads and Dewata. He gets a new patch.
Can I just say that as the AI, or also Jeff Hayes, every time he says Dewata, it becomes more and more unhinged.
Really?
Yeah.
In what way?
In first, it was like warning, Dewata's temple has been defiled. And then like further on, it's like, you have defiled the temple of Dewata. And then after that, it's like, Dewata. Like it just becomes Dewata. Like it just becomes more and more crazy as he says it.
That's so funny.
Just so fucking gorgeous. It is beautiful. Holy shit. I love Jeff Hayes. End of rant. Continue. I'm so sorry.
So Carl also gets some new patches. They learn from what's her name? From Brittany. They learn from Brittany, who knows Latin, that Scuttleophily, which is Donut's hobby, earth hobby skill, that it means the love of small shields. And then they know, it's like, this is why she's obsessed with patches and so critical.
She's so into patches. Yeah, absolutely.
Carl also reaches 100 strength, which allows him an option of 3 upgrades. Swole, prison bitch, or stepson. Swole doubles the strength he gets from leveling. Prison bitch just like makes him stronger against opponents that are weaker than him, which is kind of like a win more mechanic. And stepson is like foot-based attacks. Donut recommends...
I would have chosen foot-based.
Yeah, Donut's like, you need to appease the AI, but he goes with Swole, which he thinks is just the best option.
I would have 100% chosen the foot-based one. That was just me.
Yeah.
What would you have chosen if you were Carl?
Probably. I know I would have not picked prison bitch because I don't believe in win more mechanics.
Right. Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Probably would have gone with Swole.
If the AI is going to be into me, then I'm going to choose the thing that's going to appease the AI more. So I would have chosen stepson.
Yeah. There's a lot of achievements and stuff of note here for teleporting into a solid object, but was saved due to the teleport being an administrative action. Apparently if a crawler of their own volition, or not volition, but like if by their own initiation, if they teleport into an object, that's not good. It will hurt them.
They'll lose a foot. They'll be castrated. Absolutely.
It reminds me of like jumping in Battlestar Galactica. The risk of a blind jump landing in the middle of a sun or a planet.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. He gets an achievement for stabbing someone with an arrow instead of firing it.
Instead of using his ranged weapon.
Yeah. An achievement for infecting a combatant with a venereal disease, which he receives a condom for. Very funny.
The best one though.
Donut gets a John Wick achievement for killing a dog, which we haven't seen how that happened yet. Carl is up to 52 hunting trophies. And there's a really interesting achievement. This little piggy made a boom boom. You deployed a bomb with the supple curved sole of your foot. You took your perfectly 30.004861 centimeter long right foot and compressed it against an explosive device, a device named after me, no less.
Yep.
And you gave it a naughty little shove before you pushed it out the door and detonated. You killed them. You killed them all for your daddy. And then Carl says the AI made a deep throaty groan for like 5 seconds straight, an uncomfortably long time. Oh no, it's so gross.
Again, this is one of those reasons why you really need to like listen to the audiobook because it really was that long. It was about 5 seconds. Just listening to Jeffrey go.
He does the groan. He does the groan.
Oh, he does the full groan for a long time. It's so disconcerting. Man. It's fantastic. I feel like I should be getting a kickback. I fucking love it.
I love how the AI has Carl's like exact foot length to the like 7th decimal place or something.
Oh, of course he does.
It's crazy.
He is very invested.
So they do their looting and achievement viewing. The recap episode shows up, which is because the recaps are constantly operating like after the fact. We actually now get to see what happened to Donut after Carl was teleported, her battle with Lucia Marr. It's also a really intense combat. And, you know, Carl realizes Donut holds her own very well. Mid-fight, Lucia calls it a draw after Donut gets caught in one of her root traps, like rooting her in place, forcing Donut to cast Fireball in a small pub, which Carl's like, I told you not to do that. And she's like, well, I got an achievement for it. And it's all I could do. We see Lucia in the recap talking to someone who isn't there still, and who's like refers to the person by the name Alexandro, who Donut reports, or maybe Mordecai does, I don't remember exactly who, is like, oh, that's probably her youth assistant.
No, it's Donut, because she so I only know this because I just finished reading these chapters. Donut that reports because it wasn't a part of the recap episode, and Donut's like, that's crazy that they didn't include that next part. So she refers to this Alejandro as her youth advisor or whatever. And then Mordecai goes on to say that the youth advisors are people who are assigned to people who were too young to be a part of the dungeon crawl, and the age always differs depending on like the race, the culture, whatever. So like some people might be like more mature, and maybe at a younger age they could enter into the crawl, but it depends on the race and who they're associated with.
Yeah, it's really weird how like for certain races it's like they have these assistants or might not even allow them to crawl. It's very interesting. I think it probably has a lot to do with like the relative maturity of different species and how quickly they mature their bodies and minds, maybe probably bodies, but anyway. But Donut also reports
in this case, minds too, because she is, I think, what do you remember how old she was? I think she was 12. So I don't.
That sounds about right. I have thought of her as 13.
Fair enough.
Yes, 13 is what the wiki says. Yeah.
Donut, but it wasn't a part of the conversation on the recap, but Donut relays this information to them.
Right. Apparently Lucia has been rapidly changing personalities during the fight. One of Lucia's dogs, Cece, returns at one point and attacks Donut, who is rooted in the trap, but they're up in like a tree house, I think. And Donut had cleverly created like you like cast illusions, like duplicate illusions of herself, like a mirror image.
Right.
But she
Yes.
also cast one where she was standing and then cast hole below herself, removing the trap. So she escapes getting chomped on by Cece. Cece go like peers through the hole, and Donut pulls her the trick we've seen happen multiple times. She cuts off Cece's head by closing the hole.
Fuck yeah.
And so she gets her John Wick achievement.
Hell yeah. I also want to point out that during this entire encounter, even though Donut is sitting directly beside him and he knew that she survived, the whole time he's having this experience where he's shouting at the movie. He's like, "Don't go in there, girl."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like grandma watching soap operas where she's like, "Oh my God, don't do it."
It's
like,
the parent in him. He can't stand to see,
he's like, He's like, "Watch out for traps," even though like she is 100% alive and totally fine sitting next to him. It's hilarious. It's a really funny scene, but also really tense.
Yeah, one thing that really like in this exchange that really highlights, I think, and reinforces like Lucia as a child is we learn she has a youth assistant. 2, when she calls the draw, she like yells at the bartender and orders milk. And I believe the bar's name is Leche as well, which is milk in Spanish. So it feels like
is it bar named that? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think Carl notes it when he is like gets up on the temple. I think is when he notes it. And it's probably Lucia who renamed the bar that, because it seems like she likes milk and she is from, I think, Central or South America. She's from Ecuador. Yeah. So
okay. Yeah,
that makes sense. At the end of the recap, there's an announcement that there's only 66,000 crawlers left. Guilds are going well. And the hunters are struggling, and many are just going back to Zakao and calling it quits. Which, good on the crawlers. Good on Carl for making it not worth their while to risk their lives. I think also something that's contributing to that is the fact that they can't sell equipment to Laracos because it's flooded at this point. So, like, it really isn't worth the risk, even to make some money. Bomo arrives with the male mantis that Carl has offered to protect from Vra. In the next chapter, chapter 38, which are 2 of my absolute favorite chapters in this set, we get more really important exposition that links to the Nebular stuff that we mentioned earlier, and opened up what I think is a very important like social thesis of the series. So the mantis is introduced as an accountant, another accountant hunter named Edict of the Dark Hive, which we learn here is both a private corporation and the hive of Ra, Cersei, and Zindi. Like their family is the like royal family of the hive, but is not the royal family of all the mantises, which is the burrowers. The hive, Dark Hive, is like, as hunters, they're collecting gear from crawlers by killing them and selling that to the burrowers, who are a faction in Faction Wars. So there's multiple hive groups and the reasons why, like, one is hunting and selling gear to the royal family. They meet Edict. They attempt to intimidate him in a really hilarious exchange. They go, "Oh, another accountant? Oh yeah, we knew another accountant. What was that other accountant's name? The elf from the dream? He said he was an accountant too." You know I don't know. I don't remember the names of corpses, Carl, Donut said. Maybe if you pull his hand out of your inventory, it will jog your memory. This is hilarious. They're remarking on Edict being another accountant while straight up fucking intimidating him by calling him a corpse and reminding the hunter that he's about to lose his hand. It's very funny. And then we just get Edict kind of explaining what his position is, why he's come, and why he's not going to do what Carl wants him to do, which is to hand over all of the weapons and armor in exchange for protection. He explains that Carl, by virtue of like everything Carl has done related to faction wars and the hunters, it has placed him and his entire hive, like his family, in a very bad situation and screwed him, Edict, over no matter what happens due to Mantis like social structure and social norms and expectations. And so we get this like really complex social structure and situation explained, which highlights how the system, like the economic system, includes the middle and lower class as cogs in the machine, kind of like how we saw with the bounty hunter in the previous epilogue. And it further,
and also to a lesser degree, the same way that Zev is affected by it.
Yes,
like she's essentially a crawler because like they're all sort of cogs in this machine that is continuing and fucks everyone but the absolute upper echelon. So like
and it further emphasizes the nebular point of the root cause of violence and chaos being like a lack of resources and scarcity. So I'm going to read a couple quotes here. If I give you the weapons, if I give you the weapons and armor, my family would be financially ruined. I would be without honor, forced to kill myself in shame. He explains like there was a contract and he like has to sell the stuff. If I refuse Vra's orders and allow her to suffer by staying in a safe room, her family would take revenge on my own. They are powerful, almost as strong as the royal family, and certainly more wealthy. The Dark Hive is more wealthy than the Burrowers, the royal family, the government. But if I give in to Vra's demands and mate with her, I will more than just die. He will be decapitated, he explains later, because mantises. While she would not be
also you have to have a special license in place in order to mate with a particular mantis that is of a different
like
class than
like a royal family or
correct
a hive queen
so
family,
he would
like
be
level family.
He would bring shame onto his own family and probably also litigation due to this.
I think he says right here, while she would not be impregnated within this zone, it is still forbidden for members of my hive to attempt a coupling with hers. And while the Burrower government isn't as strict as they once were, the old ways persist amongst our culture, and we would still be deemed as traitors. You need a license or you'll be considered a traitor. Perhaps forgivable, especially considering my circumstances, but a humiliation either way, and I will not let that happen. Carl, like through this excerpt and others, is like watching this guy become more and more resolved. He notes like the more he speaks, the more like he's like stands up straight and like talks more affirmed in his beliefs and position. I believe Carl respects this guy and his like willingness to support and protect his family. Edict goes on to say something that we've heard a number of crawlers say. It's been in a number of excerpts from cookbook authors. And Edict says this. I think actually some other hunters they've killed say this as well. I hate this place. I hate everything about it. Finding the stars was the worst thing that ever happened to my people. It is a slow, horrific death. Expansion to the point of oblivion. The primals finally understood, but it was too late for them. The Kuatin, I think, know this too. Some of them, at least. They call it the Great Consensus, but it's not. There is no agreement. Their young don't understand. There is so much in these sentences. There is scarcity, like the scarcity brought on by expanding out into like beyond your planet and solar system creates scarcity as your population expands, which breeds competition, which breeds violence, which breeds chaos. Except it is slow. It is economic violence. It is not necessarily war. The primals ran out of
real quick.
Oh yeah, please.
I wanted to just point out that Temer in the chat threw a bone to Nova.
Yes, Nova's actually on a walk right now. Otherwise, I would honor that. Thank you, though.
Okay.
Yeah. He also
got your back, Temer.
I appreciate it, and you got Nova's back, which I also love. He says
Back, I want to see
the
that dog get treated.
primals finally understood. So we don't know much about what's going on with the primals. We know that they had a great war and that they disappeared, and they left behind all this technology. It sounds like their war had to do with resources and scarcity and violence and chaos, maybe.
I want to hear more about the Great Consensus as well.
I think not who was the, I've already forgotten her name, the Kuatin that got murdered.
Loita,
I think, was like, when she monologued, she talked a lot about kind of those very fascist beliefs of, like, one ideology our young don't understand.
She did. There was definitely mention of that. 100%. Yes.
And so, like, the Great Consensus is basically just like a stand-in for the philosophy of the Bloom Party, which is like, their values are unity, and that's like a hegemonic unity, not a like we support everyone, but like get with the program or die.
My way or the highway, motherfucker. Yeah, absolutely.
And how do they achieve that? Through force and violence, not economic, literal, because we know Zev's family has been killed
by killing their counterparts.
Yeah,
because like they didn't adhere to, or as Zev said, she refused to wear a button.
Yeah,
she refused to wear a pin,
and so
they killed her entire family. So, like, holy shit.
Yeah. And so it feels like what isn't said is, I had to come here to support my family. This is my job. I hate my job. I hate everything about it.
Right.
Yeah. Neat. Like, there's a lot going on with, like,
so much.
This is Marxism right here to me. This is like, this is like, what did I write here about Marxism? I'm not going to spend too much time thinking about it, but like, manufactured scarcity is scarcity that is not inherent, but constructed via capitalism. It is a ruling class or corporate class that is hoarding wealth and resources and creating a working class that is struggling to meet their basic needs, and thus creating competition and antagonism within the middle and lower classes as a form of reinforcement, and reinforcing the system and creating forms of systemic violence in order to maintain the status quo. Create competitive systems, creating scarcity in order to drive control, profit, and just enough productivity, but balance that with, like, struggle and lack of upward mobility among the working classes. It's all existential Marxism here. It's, it's very interesting. I'm getting a phone call. 1 second. So all of this Marxist kind of, like, resource scarcity breeds competition, breeds violence, breeds chaos, is really interesting. We get to see it talked about, like, in economic terms a lot in these chapters, but I think we can also kind of, like, draw lines between, like, there is a lot of scarcity based competition in the crawl with things like loot that is, limited loot. There was the quests, the competing quests between Carl and
experience farming, etc.
And like, with, like, the dog Orthrus and whether or not to kill him, like, competing quests. They had, like, a competing quest with Bautista when they first met him, but they didn't know they did. Within
the confines of a dungeon, though, it's very easy to determine that it's all manufactured. But within the larger expanse of the universe, or like greater universes as a whole, harder to discern because it's more widespread. Totally understand. And
we also kind of, like, have some insight into Carl's philosophy on this, even though he hasn't said anything about this, because, like, anytime he's been presented with, like, the options to unify or compete, he's always advocated for,
unifies.
we would have been stronger together, like working together.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
And
100%.
we're working towards like an attack on that philosophy and his ideology from kind of a different angle, with this situation specifically, because Ra shows up. She appears limping in the hallway towards Edict, and he basically explains like, I don't have any choices, except, and then he lunges and attacks Carl. And it wasn't like he was trying to, I think, actually hurt Carl.
No, not at all.
He was trying to initiate a dungeon mechanic, which is he is deemed naughty and he is teleported naked to the nearest mob nest, which Carl reflects on is probably Edict's family's best outcome, is for him to not be put in a position where he is denying orders from his queen's daughter, and not being forced to give Carl weapons and armor, that apparently he'd already like given it away to someone else to fulfill the contract on.
Right.
But this basically saves his family from any kind of retribution,
repercussions,
and shame.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am someone who has always struggled with understanding, like in like shinobi culture, Japanese feudal culture, like the like taking your own life as a form of honor, and comparing that with shame. And you know, part of it is like I just culturally don't have the same conception of shame in those types of circumstances, but it's laid out pretty bare and clear here.
Absolutely.
Like, this is why my family would be shamed and why I have to do this in order to protect my family's dignity and honor and well-being. Edict dies, or Edict is teleported away. Ra just kind of stands there groaning. Donut tells her, you should get that taken care of. Maybe you can put some ointment on it. It looks infected. And they slam the door in her face.
Well, not before Edict, upon his disappearing and being stripped, right, like naked into the nearest mob nest, drops an absolute shitload of gold.
Yes, he does drop a bunch of gold. I thought that detail was funny. They collect some of it, but yeah, it's the least important part and least funny part of the whole hilarious and very tense scene. Chapter 39 starts with Donut reflecting on how she feels bad for Edict, which is interesting. We know that Carl almost exclusively has no sympathy or empathy for anyone a part of the system, anyone that's not an Earthling. Zev has become an exception. Audette is an interesting maybe edge case, but not really. But Donut has shared and expressed a lot of similar thoughts and feelings towards at least hunters, and factions that have opposed Donut and Carl, but she feels bad for Edict here.
I think Edict, because she spoke to him for approximately 2.5 seconds, and this is the difference between Carl's understanding of like what it means to be a human and to exist as a part of a greater whole, and Donut, from her perspective of having been, we talked about this, like sentient, like having woken up approximately 44 days ago. Really. So like her whole worldview, really, it boils down to Carl. It was B. It is Ellie. It is Amani. It is Chris. It is Katya. It is Louis. It is the people that she directly interacts with. And to a lesser degree, the other crawlers, the rest of humanity as a whole, so long as they're not acting in a way that is counterintuitive to what she and Carl are trying to create and enact. And everyone else in the entire universe, with the exception of Zev, falls outside of that circle for Donut.
Yeah.
Whereas Carl is looking at it like these NPCs, they're a part of a greater machine. These other people, Zev is essentially a crawler. She's locked into this position that she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't like. Her family were killed. Her choices were taken away from her. Whereas maybe Donut has the intelligence and the ability to understand these greater ideologies.
Yeah.
I think she chooses to ignore it because her whole life, literally her whole life, since the moment she woke up essentially in the dungeon, has been, I need to survive. And anybody who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't directly help me survive is outside of my realm of giving a fuck for. So
Yeah.
let him die. I don't give a shit. But you're right, Edict. She spoke to him for approximately 2 seconds and she's like, well, maybe I kind of feel bad for this guy because she got to know him for a minute
Yeah.
and she has some
Well,
empathy for someone that she's spoken to, right?
yeah, I think she recognizes that like maybe his choices weren't necessarily taken away from him, but they all sucked and he made a tough one that was
Yeah.
like good for his values and goals, but bad for his well-being. And that takes guts and
Yeah.
courage. Yeah. Um, Carl does not respond to Donut. He reflects on Edict's words and he says it's really interesting. He's like, Carl reflects on what Edict said about all the like Marxism and scarcity and blah blah blah. And Carl says, I disagreed with him. It's not clear exactly what Carl's disagreeing with. He just says, I disagreed with Edict's philosophy. I think that he means that he disagrees with the notion around scarcity based competition and thus also
Okay.
disagrees with the nebulars, which is really interesting.
Okay.
We don't know because Carl is a man of few words, and even though this would have been the perfect time for him to have some thoughts, we have seen that Carl believes that we're stronger together. He certainly doesn't believe in the need to reap planets for their resources and slaughter their organic life forms in order to reduce
Mm-hmm.
competition. Um, and so we're kind of left wondering, does Carl believe that scarcity leads to competition, leads to violence, leads to chaos? Like, can that be overcome? It seems like he believes that either that doesn't exist, which doesn't seem necessarily true, um, or it can be overcome, which I do think Carl believes that it can be overcome because he is a kind of naive thinking character, like especially the way he's
I
like,
think he's just idealistic. I don't know if that makes
yeah,
him naive. I think
okay,
he's idealistic.
idealistic is the right word, I think. Um, and then I'm gonna note if that is our conjecture that Carl believes that all of that scarcity through chaos can be overcome, then it is ironic that Carl believes that because his form of competition and solving problems is chaos.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. Uh, we have seen also that Carl doesn't like to force people to do things. He will explain why he thinks people should do things, but he will give them the option. He generally only is like forceful when it comes to protecting his own. And so he does
Yeah.
diverge from a lot of these other philosophies and ideologies in that way. Like
Oh
he's
yeah.
not like the Bloom
He's
who are gonna,
idealistic to a point. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. He understands the need to deviate. Like with the protection of the NPCs. He's made that distinction before with Juicebox very clearly. Like,
yeah,
hey, I'll do my absolute best. I will protect him to the best of my abilities, but like my people come first,
yeah,
you know? And
yeah.
Juicebox understands and she's like, yeah, do what you can, but like try harder,
Yes.
you know? So
Um, yeah, it's at this point that he hears his own dad's voice pop into his head. Um, from a time when Carl was being scolded from watching the news. Why do you care? He'd said to me one day when he caught me watching the news. Knowing all that stuff rots you from the inside out. It doesn't affect people like us. This feels like
Right.
the text doesn't like give Carl's dad a lot of like context and the opportunity to explain his philosophy, which is fine. You know, it comes very short clipped, and so it just feels like the kind of siloed, ignorant attitude of people who are either hostile towards journalism or hostile towards people who are different from them. And like, it's not even clear what type of news is being judged by Carl's dad.
Right.
But this kind of like isolationist philosophy is quickly dismissed, mostly because it's coming from Carl's dad and it's very short. So it just doesn't feel like a strong argument or philosophy here. I think this is more put here as a reminder for why Carl's dad is just a shitty character, and
Right. Like we
a
just
new
get some
dimension
prime
to it.
grade A boomer shit. Why do
Yeah.
you care? Doesn't
Yeah.
affect you. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So in total, I feel like what's being presented here, like with a very personal situation through edict, and through the like, oh, there's nebulars who are hunting you, and also, by the way, here's their like world philosophy, and economic philosophy. It's kind of created this really big, complex picture for why the crawl exists, and kind of starts to push that against Carl's philosophy, in a way that we hadn't seen, like kind of like with those dots like literally drawn together. And the next few books are definitely going to get more into some of that.
Oh yeah.
And it's definitely been coming up, especially as they've been killing hunters, particularly accountants who are like, this isn't fair. I didn't even
There's so many goddamn accountants.
Yeah, I know. There's so many goddamn accountants. Anyway, we'll move on. Carl and Donut move south. They start grinding and taking control of more towns. We get to see more evidence that the hunters are retreating. And we get more of like Carl like wondering about Lucia Marr's mysterious circumstances, which is still not getting very much, other than it's like, oh, the person she's been talking to is like an employee. Okay, at least we have that. But why is her personality changing so much? We still don't really know.
It's like she's switching back and forth, and he notes that like at one point he sees it come over her face like a shadow.
Yeah.
So it's like she's just bebopping back and forth. It's very strange.
Yeah. They arrive at yet a third town. This one is called Prepotente Town Number 4. Prepotente clearly has his very formulaic naming convention, which is very different from Donuts. I love that. This town, unfortunately, though, has been ravaged by the giant dinosaur Big Tina that they have the quest to kind of like stop. They head into the safe room so Carl can prepare for his final CrawlCon event, where he is met by the Popov brothers. This is a top 10 crawlers that I don't think I've really mentioned in the series because it hasn't been important until now.
Truly, yeah, they haven't come up until this point.
They've been mentioned a lot, but I haven't brought them up here. They are two top 10 crawlers that are in one body as a two-headed ogre. They are brothers.
It's similar to the ogre that is traveling with the elite
Serena Signet.
Serena.
Yeah.
Correct.
She has like some ogres. I think one of them was named like Apollos or something. Like who was the strongman in Grimaldi's circus. And then there's another one who is that one's brother. And they used to be I forget what they're called. A singular body like the Popov brothers are now. Anyway, they meet these guys at the production facility, the green room, whatever. They are like working together in an autograph event. Of note, he meets the Popov brothers in their green room, which is completely bare except like a roasted chicken, which they've been eating on. They have not been getting the Carl Zev treatment.
No, not at all.
Yeah, their situation is not, they've not been helped as much as Carl, which is very interesting. But they end up going to an autograph event together. Before that, Zev tells Carl that his replacement sponsor, replacing the Volte, who got conflicted out of being a sponsor now that they run the crawl, will be revealed during the event. So the next chapter, chapter 41, we see them signing autographs and taking photos with fans. Carl learns from them that Cersei is pissed and heading to Earth. Presumably to like take over a god, like sponsor a god to fuck Carl over. We see a lot of fans dressing as crawlers, including Carl and Quanch.
We also see a very brief mention that Carl has been asked to sign feet.
He refuses. It's hilarious. It's very funny because I've seen Matt Dinniman being asked to sign feet, and he has done that. The brothers.
He refuses to do it. Just saying, like now he refuses to do it. He will sign fake feet.
Yes.
If people bring them to him.
That's very funny.
But he won't sign body parts.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyway,
that's probably a like a torts and liability and that's probably a whole thing. Okay. A lot of the fans keep asking lots of questions. It's a lot of the same questions, which are very funny. They keep asking the brothers, like, did you all know you were going to be fusioned together during race selection? And it turns out we learn that one of them, their guide didn't explain it properly or quickly enough, and they selected it and just fused them together. And it was an accident. And Carl is being asked a lot about the Audette interview and Beatrice by like every fan. It's very funny. They seem to be getting annoyed by it. Another fan arrives. This is a chapter president of the Princess Posse, who is actively advocating for the eradication of Cocker Spaniels. But won't say the word. Like it's like how they treat Voldemort in the Harry Potter books. She freaks out when Carl says Cocker Spaniels.
Absolutely.
It's very funny. There's some like notes here about
symbiote.
She has a symbiote head tentacle named Maggie. It's very weird. There's like talk about how many chapters there are and the fact that they've raised a shitload of money, which I think will come into play later. And then reporters arrive and they get their turn. There's the reveal that Carl's new sponsor is the Plenty, which is, working very closely with the apothecary. And one of the reporters, a Naga named Nihit, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Nihit or Nihit.
Nihit confronts Carl about Audette being the one to reveal Beatrice, because Nihit was going to be the one to scoop Audette.
Yeah, she scooped him. Yeah,
and now Nihit is pissed that Audette counter scooped him. And calls Carl a cheater and threatens him. And Carl goes, "Get in fucking line. I have so many enemies inside and outside the dungeon. I don't care. Who are you?" And he then takes the pen so Carl's like coming through like a 3D holo projection, but he's able to like vaguely interact very gently with like a pen so he can sign autographs. But he takes that and he stabs Nihit in the neck, which actually punctures the skin and breaks the pen. Awesome. It is wild. It's crazy because we were thinking about like just how Carl being able to stab someone and like completely get away with it without immediate repercussions is just wild to me, given where we were at one book ago.
Yep.
We cut to the next chapter. Zev is informing Carl that Nihit wants to press charges and will likely do so if Carl survives the crawl. We learn about warrants and the judicial system, pseudo-slavery as the penal punishment. It's a very fucked up jailless penal system of indentureship. It's
we
weird.
Also learned, we knew
Yeah.
Det also at one point was imprisoned. Her husband bought out her sentence, which was a farce. It was a joke. But one of
Yeah.
the things that I think that is important to note is that it didn't happen while she was a crawler. It happened while she was Mordecai's guide, that she
Yes.
gained this
Yeah.
infraction on her record. So like just
Yes.
I think that's important to note.
Yeah. It's another
So
big part of the picture of like how did Audette screw over Mordecai? Apparently, it involved a court
he testified
case.
against her. Yeah, the
Yeah,
whole
she
thing.
did something real bad because she got like taken to court over it. It's very interesting. It basically it's a super like to me very like unintuitive system, but of course it benefits the uber rich and they're like they get to buy their way out of it basically. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. Um, yeah. Uh, Next chapter 43, Donut. This is where Donut says there's like 700 Princess Posse chapters. Donut
And
actively they've all raised a lot of money to murder dogs, to commit genocide on dogs. It literally feels like Donut is talking like she's a member of the Bloom Party.
A little bit.
The way she talks is kind of like Noita and or a Nazi.
A little bit.
It's very fucked up. I can't tell if Donut genuinely means it or if it's just for the memes.
An act. I can't tell either.
It's weird.
Truly.
The Plenty and the Apothecary send Carl and Donut sponsorship gifts. One includes a picture of Mongo and a recipe for a potion of charm animal, which delights Mordecai. He's like, I've been chasing this recipe for hundreds of years. Oh yeah, you needed to flash freeze it in a centrifuge, not chill it. Oh, I should have known. And the only ingredient that they are missing in order to make this potion is a liter of Mongo blood per potion. Donut protests.
Yeah, obviously she does. She's like,
yeah. They also
during
both
this time.
What?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They both
during
also
this time
receive items that protect them from vampirism, which is very ominous, given they know exactly one vampire.
Yep.
Is that what you were going to bring up?
Exactly. That was 100% what I was going to bring up.
And also, at the same time, Miriam Dom, our only known vampire, messages Carl saying that she is trapped and needs help before she will die in 10 hours when the sun rises. They are a couple hours out. I love this. I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now because we'll be covering these chapters. Miriam is not the threat that they are being protected from, but it sure is written to make us feel like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it feels like they are so connected, and they are connected, but not in the way we think.
But even during that, even with the writing being like, ooh, is Miriam trying to trap Carl somehow? Carl is very much like Captain Save-A-Ho in this moment, in that he's like, I don't care. I know this woman. She saved my life. I'm going to do whatever I can to try and help her and get to her.
Captain Save-A-Ho.
Oh, yeah. Have you not heard that before?
That's a song, by the way.
Oh, is it? I don't know. But yeah.
I'll be looking this up. It came out in 1993.
That makes sense. I am very old. But yeah, he's like, at that point, he's like, I don't care. She saved my life. I don't care if it's a trap. If she genuinely is in danger, I'm going to help her no matter what. Whatever I can do, we're going to get to her. We're going to save her. So, like,
well, yeah. I mean, he knows that he has faction wars coming up, and also the rest of this floor and all the other floors. But faction wars, and he's going to need every strong crawler he can get for all of it.
Absolutely. Yes.
So yeah, why not help each other out? Like, this is him enacting his philosophy of we are stronger together.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So chapter 44, we learn that Miriam has been trapped in the aftermath of an elite quest and has been for 25 hours stuck with Prepotente paralyzed, like I think turned to stone, but maybe paralyzed.
It's
with his arm around her waist. He is
petrified.
He's been petrified for 25 hours. He is also very fragile, and if she tried to move, she could break his arm, which would kill him because he's in a fragile state.
Yeah.
Correct. And he is paralyzed for 15 hours, whereas she has 10 hours until she will die from the sun that she is stuck in place to get. And apparently she's been using potions to heal herself through yesterday. So she's already been and she's exhausted all her resources.
But she wasn't able to message Carl, and nobody was able to message him.
Right, because Carl was
another
busy.
Elite. No, it was just because the Elite.
Oh, the Elite
was
quests
involved.
that he was dealing with. Yeah,
correct. He's not able to interfere in any other Elite quests aside from the Signet one.
Yeah.
So because it took that long for the other Elite to die, as soon as the Elite died, her messages started coming through.
Right.
And he got all of these kind of retroactive messages from everyone over the course of the last 24 hours saying hey, help her, where are you, why aren't you responding to this? Everything was blocked.
Yeah, so they start heading her way, but they find out that Big Tina has returned to the town and is grabbing the Ursine villagers from buildings like candies from an advent calendar through the windows.
Yes. True.
They learn that the dinosaurs, all the Mongos that they've met and Big Tina, were all originally Ursine, but were transformed by the Scolopendra attack. And that Big Tina basically lived in a religion-driven footloose situation. And just wants to dance because she had been preparing for a recital that she never got the chance to do because her pastor father smacked her mother and her around, and then they got attacked by Scolopendra.
Didn't smack her mother, almost killed her mother.
Yeah.
As a result of this. It's no very small attack. Tina was transformed along with all of the other women in the village women who were transformed were looked at as being sinful. The ones who weren't were thought of as being pious because they were followers of the religion. It was it's oh god, it's so fucked up. And it's actually super duper fucked up.
Yes, and this is a callback to in the first part when we came to our first Ursine settlement, and the AI was having a conniption fit over how what was the word the AI used? Contradictory. No, the AI was Ursine, talk a big game, but they're so self-contradictory. And I hate
they're
it.
the first ones that you'll find the weirdest porn on their search
history. Right, and apparently 100%. Their religion is a part of that too. And so what felt like just an ironic, silly description is actually was being built into the narrative.
Correct.
And we're paying that off now. And it turns out Kiwi, the leader of the Mongoliensis pack, is Big Tina's Mongo MILF.
That's your money.
Yeah. And we also learned that Big Tina herself became a vampire. We later learned from Miriam that they fought before Tina got somehow ejected from the fight upon becoming a vampire. Probably because it was two elite things interacting which shouldn't.
Right.
But Tina became a vampire, is out of control, and is creating undead minions that are body parts of her victims and are coming together to form patchwork monsters.
The shambling berserkers, but the sum of their parts is greater.
Much greater, yeah. So this is somehow Miriam's circumstances are not only affecting her elite quest and stuff, but it's bleeding over into this Tina storyline as well. There's an interesting part of the monster description when you think about it, vampires are basically necromancers with an eating disorder. The fact these minion things exist is a testament to that. That's just kind of fucked up, weird. But I guess you're right, Matt Dinniman. Hilarious.
He makes an excellent point.
We then move on to a much more sophisticated comprehension of vampirism at the start of chapter 45 with a cookbook author who describes how in their culture there are two kind of philosophies of vampirism. One version is like your traditional creature that is a blood hunter, and then there's one that is a plague bearer, which illustrates like a sort of a butterfly effect. It talks about like how the infection of one person ripples on through time, affecting other people and compounds.
Yes.
This is interesting, and it basically just kind of adds like a different lens to think about curses and diseases as a form of like in games and fiction, like fantasy fiction. And not thinking of it as like a monster passing on like monstrousness, but like more of like a disease, which isn't like a common kind of lens to look at vampirism. It's interesting. But it ties in because the thing that's going on from Miriam to Tina to these shambling berserkers is going to compound very quickly, not through long periods of time, but through a very short period of time. Miriam, this is where Miriam confirms that she spread the vampirism to Big Tina in a fight. And it is becoming a floor-wide issue. It is compounding quickly. Like with the Orthrus and Emberus summon affecting everybody in their bubbles, that like the monsters and Tina and the vampirism is spreading to other dinosaurs, which are creating these patchwork minions. Carl and Donut reach the next town. They are kind of doing this daisy chaining thing of on their way to Miriam, they're stopping to draw Mongo's blood and pick up potions that will be useful to charm and also heal up Mongo and also get, I think, some like holy water. They have like a whole plan along the way. It's very interesting.
It's a very multi-part.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But they're making the most of their time and the fact that they're able to stop at all these different safe points along the way. Ironically, at the start of chapter 46, The Land Before Time is playing for the Ursine Kid refugees that Carl and Donut let in from the village that was being attacked. Carl notes that it's really fucked up because of Tina killing their dad, which we saw happen. But it also, ironically, with Land Before Time playing, much like how Toy Story on the screen last book was very interesting, there are actually some really funny parallels between The Land Before Time and what's going on with some different characters here. And with loss of parent or parent trauma, it's very interesting.
Don Bluth. Don Bluth was good at that. Absolutely. Disney was good at that in the early 90s. That's why we had so much trauma in this generation. Like every movie that was supposed to be a heartfelt, like tender childhood, like kid-friendly movie started with a parent horribly dying horrifically, either in front of them or off screen, and the trauma was implied.
Yeah. Like, I'm really surprised we don't get like Bambi. Or do we? I don't remember.
I don't think we get Bambi at any point in these books, but there is still another couple books to come. So
that's true.
We'll see.
True. Donut kills the mayor and takes another town. They approach Miriam's location only to encounter a boss battle with Sierra, who was the mount of the elite that Miriam was dealing with, Viscount Fogg. Sierra was the mount of Viscount Fogg and is now vampiric also.
And a bereft minion,
And a bereft
We've dealt with bereft minions previously with the circus, but yes.
Yeah. Carl nearly gets ripped apart by Sierra's talons. She's like I think she's kind of like a pterodactyl-ish kind of looking minion, which is also ironic given the Land Before Time playing at the start of this chapter. But they defeat her using a combination of Donut's extremely powerful light spell, using holy water potions, and impaling her heart on a branch.
But Donut very helpfully says, "Oh my God, you punched him in his dick." And he says, I think Cersei was a lady, or was it female? And she says, "You punched her in her lady garden."
Yeah, the lady garden reference, really funny. Also funny is Mongo keeps wanting to eat the undead minions that they're killing, and they keep being like, "No, Mongo, stop." It's very funny. Chapter 47 has some good stuff. We see a cookbook entry from the 7th user of the book, who is just devastated by and broken by the loss of a loved one. The 22nd user of the cookbook, Drachia, notes that this is that user's only entry and says, "Fuck everything about this place." It's not just hunters saying it, it's also past and current crawlers.
Yeah, absolutely. Like everyone suffers because of the dungeon.
Yeah.
Everyone is affected by it.
Everyone is hurt by it except the rich.
Correct.
Yeah. Carl and Donut find Miriam with about an hour left. Along the way, Miriam keeps texting them like, "Are you here yet? I'm getting really nervous, Carl." But she's very gentle about it. She's not very pushy or aggressive. She's just like,
she's like, "I hate to be a pest, but are you close? Are you coming soon?" And he's like, "We're on our way. We're on our way." Yeah.
Because we don't know like if Miriam is the threat at this point, it feels like is this femme fatale Miriam? Like is she playing like, "Oh dear me, I just hope you make it in time."
This chapter really fucked me up, and I said that I mentioned this to you before, but it was really, I put off rereading these chapters for this very reason, because it doesn't matter how many times I've read it, it always hurts.
Yeah,
every single time.
This is a gut punch of a chapter. These next couple chapters, they arrive. Carl's spidey sense is going off. He is sensing there is danger here, like something is off. And he is wary of Miriam. She attempts to reassure them that she is no threat. She literally gives them a spell. She reveals that she can convert her known spells into spell books, losing the spell. She gives Donut one of her spells. It's called Get Out of Jail. She then also, there are some monsters approaching, and without even looking, she just kills them with spells. Which I think further emphasizes like she could hurt Carl and Donut if she wanted. She is in a vulnerable position, but she is still fully capable of causing harm. Even though she's tired, she's been awake, she has no potions, she's exhausted, but she is still very strong. And then she proceeds to give us her origin story. It's very delicate and sweet. She tells us about how she gave up a whole life and career to move home
and a
fiance to care for her parents, who are old or sick. It's not, I don't remember if it's clear, but she moves home to care for them.
Older. Yeah.
And their goats, which include which, is connected to how she came into the dungeon with like 18 goats or something. And she was there caring for them for a long time, including Prepotente, who she explains was her little shadow, always loved her and following her around, and has always been so attached to her. She talks about how her becoming a vampire was how she got roped into one of these like third-party shows, like the Serena Signet show. And their final battle with Viscount Fogg involved a bunch of like spells being cast, but getting rebounded back and forth between counter spells that Fogg and Prepotente had. And it like, the spells like mutated and magnified, and explains how they got in their predicament. It turned Prepotente fragile, turned him to stone. When he was touching Miriam, because that was how he had to like use a spell that was going to pass along Miriam's vampirism back, or not back, but transfer it to Viscount Fogg, which would have been like an amazing, ironic ending to that show. But it caused their situation, and a lot like how the what was the name of the guy at the end of the third floor? Maxis?
Oh, yeah. What was his name?
But anyway, how like there were those pulses of causing magic items to activate. The rebounding also activated Prepotente's Ring of Divine Suffering that he has recently gotten.
Yeah.
Marking Miriam, meaning neither she nor he can heal, or no, he cannot heal until Miriam is dead, and he is at one hit point, and fragile and cannot be healed until she is dead. So she lays it all out, and then Carl and Donut like kind of, I don't know if they literally take a step back, but they're in the chat talking about the situation. Donut absolutely hates it and likens it to the Maggie Chris situation, like the impossible situation that they were faced with midway through the last book. Carl disagrees with her. Carl sees the practical benefits of killing her, given the fact that there is this compounding butterfly effect with the vampiric curse, and the fact that Miriam explains if the source of the curse dies, the curse disappears. So all who are infected, as long as it like they don't move on to the next floor, all that curse will be cured. Carl does feel helpless, but he's like, I feel helpless because I see it as I only have one clear choice, and I hate it.
Right.
He ultimately, Carl, refuses to kill Miriam, but he offers to wait with her and protect her in Prepotente until sunrise.
Until the sun rises.
Yeah. He does mark her with his own Ring of Divine Suffering, which is interesting because it becomes clear she is now marked by 2 rings, which was a mechanic I don't think was explained. And I don't think it's all that important, but it was something I was curious about. And Carl starts to think about, like, there's a 300,000 gold bounty on her. It would be so easy to kill her. And Prepotente, who has a $900,000 bounty on him, and so many magic items between the two of them. But that's not who he is. He came because he wanted to help her. And he also knows that Miriam trusts him. And the reason that Miriam had explained her backstory and why like her connection with Prepotente was so special is because she knows that Carl has the same connection with Donut. Carl reflects on Drachia and Edict's words. Fuck everything about this place, he thinks to himself. Carl reflects on his own mother's choice to die and try and protect her son, Carl. Donut asks Carl if he would do the same thing to protect her in such a situation. He says, without hesitation, without skipping a beat.
It's devastating.
Yeah. We get an I will break you all in his internal thoughts. Miriam turns to dust while whispering to Prepotente that he is her beautiful boy. I'm tearing up now. I cry every time I read this. It is so horribly sad.
It makes me. I could cry right now.
I could cry right now. It's interesting seeing all of the characters' reactions in this moment. Everyone is feeling like Donut is feeling very sad. We, the reader, I mean, not every reader, but I am feeling very sad. Carl is angry. Like, fuck everything. I will break you all. Like his thoughts are angry and full of rage and a desire for retribution and vindication. Um,
I will also say that in the narration, the audio portion of this,
mhm.
that I will break you all that we get sounds incredibly broken.
Oh, does it?
When you listen, it really does. It sounds like he's already there. It's just
Like broken, like sad breaking, or like
yes,
vicious breaking?
no, not vicious.
Oh,
Absolutely
okay.
devastated.
So it sounds like Jeff Hayes made a
And
choice
again,
to
we
read it in a sad
absolutely
way.
we've
Okay.
determined that Carl is an unreliable narrator, but
Yeah.
there's only so much that you can hide from yourself, especially if it's something that's being spoken out loud. And whether or not that's something that was determined ahead of time
Mm.
between he and Matt Dinniman, how that line ought to be read, or if Jeff Hayes made a choice, it really made listening to that part of the audiobook just
Oh, wow. Yeah.
fucked me up.
Yeah.
I
That'll be interesting.
oh
Yeah.
god,
Yeah. No, I
I had to put it down. I had to hit pause and I had to cry for like
yeah, I did
for a long
too
time.
when I read this a couple days ago.
It gets me every
I think
time,
it is
man.
very interesting and kind of new to see, at least with Jeff Hayes reading Carl, like feeling that sadness. Um
Oh god,
I clearly, like when
it's
I
there.
read it, I didn't read it that way. I read it as angry. Um
Sure. Two
yeah.
things can be true. He can be
Yeah.
angry
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sad at the same time, but it was more of a whisper. And I would encourage you
Sh-
to
Yeah.
listen to that part if you feel up for it, since it is on a tale of probably one of the
Yeah.
most devastating deaths in the dungeon. You know how I feel about Prepotente.
Y-
Prepotente is my absolute favorite character. He's unlovable and ornery, and he loved Miriam so whole, like with his whole being. Um, but he was incredibly dependent on her,
mhm.
uh, and she knew that. So it was just, in light of this, in the very next chapter, he's grieving and he's screaming at the ashes where his mother dissolved into
Yeah.
in this, and he
Yeah.
as like when he makes his departure, he mounts Bianca, who's the other goat, and he's like, we're no longer, bound to the ground or to the moonlight, so let's go. We have shit to
Mhm.
do.
Yeah.
And it's like they were holding each other back because of their love for one another. It's just
Yeah.
it really fucked me up.
Yes. We're definitely primed to feel for Prepotente, since like our main character is someone who has lost her mother, and we've been seeing the effects of that through his psyche, through his choices, through his memories, through his pain. Um
Yeah,
and Prepotente is the same. He has lost his mother. Um the one person who was caring for and looking out for him in a bad situation.
yeah,
We've seen demonstrated in past excerpts from the book, like Prepotente's reaction when taken out of Miriam's um uh company. Apparently he like freaked out when he got teleported to a
yeah.
show with the Plenty or something. And Miriam wasn't
She
there.
she was teleported
Or
to a
she
show with
was.
Katya,
Oh, that's right. And
and
he
he
freaked
ran off.
out. Yeah. So we and we
Yeah,
also like understand that he has a fragile childlike psyche through Donut. Like we've seen how Donut and her trauma and emotions and fragileness has played out. So we can only assume that Prepotente is equally as emotionally mature or lack thereof. And so this devastating
yeah,
loss coming, within, as we talked about, like 40 to 50 days of him gaining sentience or sapiency is crazy. It's horrible.
yeah,
Um and it works really, really well. Um I think that I mean, it becomes clear Prepotente with his I mean, he has his scream of grief. And then he moves on. He actually handles this better than I expected. We'll get to it, but he mounts up on Bianca and starts getting to work. And it reads,
yes,
and it reads as maybe strength and courage. It also might be that he is now an unhinged child. We will see.
Yeah. He just wants to kill things, and I respect that.
Yeah. I think that I get that Jeff read the "I will break you" line as emotionally like sad. I think it's interesting that we so far until this moment haven't seen Carl really experience grief or sadness, because I think I read Carl as a character who is traumatized, and his response to that is to not let himself be vulnerable, at least not very often. And I feel like reading it angry leans into the flawed character more, whereas letting him be sad while also angry paints him in a more mature light that I don't like, because I want Carl to be struggling with his emotions.
Definitely is.
I mean, he is, and him being sad doesn't necessarily change that. I'm just feeling like it makes Carl seem more of an unhinged child with his own trauma if he never lets himself feel sad. If he responds to this situation by just being angry, it reads as him being more unhinged. But like you said, you can read it either way. And that's part of the beauty of the written medium, is the reader gets to interpret. Yeah. It is also amazing that we have this character, Prepotente, who we have largely through Carl's eyes, like we've seen through Carl's eyes as crazy and weird, and someone we are not emotionally close with the way that we've grown close with Elle, Katya, Imani.
Absolutely.
This is someone we have not felt that close with at all, because they haven't been a part of the party, and they're not someone who's been, agreeable or easy to work with, and who's always complaining about Carl. But it feels like we feel his loss so greatly. Yeah. Anything else you want to say about it?
No, it'll just make me cry. I love Prepotente so much, and I love that like he is essentially like an unlikable character in a lot of the same ways that Carl is an unlikable character, but Carl is softened by Donut's presence. In that Donut is charismatic, and people are like, how bad could he be if he went into the dungeon with his cat, and if he and his cat work this closely together, and he obviously loves her. Whereas Prepotente doesn't have any of that charisma. He wraps himself in his intelligence, and he's very prickly. This was a part of his character prior to his change. Miriam even mentioned, and she was like, he was just always following me around. He's always been ornery. This is just who he is, and I love him, and this is my son.
Yeah.
She calls all the goats her children.
Yeah. And we haven't really like experienced enough of the plenty or like the Caprid race to really know, like, are all goat people ornery? I mean, we know they're weird. Like, we've seen evidence that they are weird, but we haven't seen if they're ornery or not, the way that Prepotente is.
Yeah, he just, in this moment when he takes off after and he gets to work, like you had said, it's like we had chatted very briefly about it, in that like in this moment, Donut looks up at Carl and he's like, do you think they wanted Miriam to die? Do you think they wanted to get her out of the way? And he's like, yeah, I think they absolutely did. But like more than that, what he didn't say was that he also has surmised, based on how Prepotente is behaving, that Prepotente is also aware that Miriam's death was manufactured in such a way that he was unable to get out of it, and she was going to die regardless.
I mean, I don't know if it was necessarily manufactured by the Plenty or the Apothecary, because like it's not them who have control over that storyline. I just think that they avoided helping in ways that they could have.
Sure, but even so, like, yeah, he looks at it like anyone who was responsible for my mother's death.
Yeah.
Hey. He looks at Carl and he basically says this, and he's like, I don't know if you'll understand. And Carl looks at him and he's like, why would you think I wouldn't understand that?
Yeah.
And he nods at him and he's like, cool, I'm gonna go kill a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
like, right. Yeah, let's walk through some of like the aftermath of this. So Miriam dumped her inventory. Everyone is cured of vampirism. They receive a new quest called the Creeping Apocalypse, which is a world quest for all crawlers and hunters on the floor. It turns out that the patchwork monsters that were being made by the minions, bereft minions of all the vampires that were being created, are not vampires themselves. So they did not lose their vampirism and die. They have become what are called odious creepers, some of the strongest monsters to ever exist on the 6th floor, and there are 50 of them. The quest asks all crawlers and hunters to kill all of them before sunset, or quote, something very bad will happen. In the quest, it mentions like Miriam has died and the vampirism has been cured and blah blah blah, and also, oh, so interesting that Carl has like 3 new intelligence points. Oh, ain't that something? So it's like calling out Carl for his behavior, which is rude. It provides a bunch of really huge incentives to kill the odious creepers, but the incentives are only awarded to whoever does the most damage to a kill. So it is creating more competition. Donut here notices that the AI has been using I to refer to itself a lot more.
Right.
And Mordecai is like, oh, these odious creepers, they're probably going to be around level like 150. This is bait. Avoid them. Do not engage.
Right.
And then we see Prepotente wake. We get his distressed response. He drops the Ring of Divine Suffering, which he knows was part of the reason for his mother's death. He then picks it up and eats it.
Yep.
Before letting out his haunting cry, not a bleat, a cry. And Donut comforts him as he receives a benefactor box. Kiwi and her dinosaurs arrive. Carl realizes that all of this was always going to be the solution. They use the charm animal potion, making Donut in charge of a minion who is in charge of a pack of mongos. And our greatest fear has become a boon. Although Carl notes that they don't control the pack, they control the leader of the pack, which is a big difference.
Control Kiwi, yeah.
Donut lets Mongo out now that they have control over Kiwi. She immediately starts laying down some ground rules, and oh, look at that. Mongo and Kiwi are getting busy breaking rule number 1. Yeah, this is where Carl talks about the Plenty setting up this chain of events and likely wanting Miriam to die. Prepotente uses a wand. This is a really cool item. He like uses a wand that has a number of charges to create a small temporary safe space where he opens up the benefactor box that he just received, and he gets like a vintage spray applicator. And this is where he says, I've decided if I can't exist in a world without my mother, or I'm sorry, if I can't exist in a world with my mother, then nobody even remotely responsible for her death can exist in this world either. I'm going to kill them all, or I'm going to perish trying. This is Prepotente's I will break you all.
Yes.
He has settled on a mantra. He thanks them for being there for Miriam and sets out to kill a lot of odious creepers. He is extremely convicted and focused, much more than I expected. But like Carl, he's very full of anger and a desire for vengeance. We then get a couple of chapters where like we keep getting these messages that odious creepers are dying. They are extremely high level, but they are falling. We open up and Prepotente already has gotten like 3 kills, which is crazy because he's going to be getting so much XP and stats. The party catches up with Mordecai and Katya's team. They head out to hunt creepers themselves. Louis gets to really shine here. It's a callback to when we first met him. His class is extermination professional, so he has huge bonuses to gas, smoke, and aerosol-based attacks. And with him able to use an ability called Tent the House from the height of the Twister flying above all these odious creepers, he's just a powerhouse in dealing with these odious creepers. Their limitation, though, is the distance that they can cover before sunset. And Carl basically uses a cookbook recipe that he quickly invents. And he notes that he's kind of risking how quickly he's inventing basically
coming up with these things.
Like a potion that they need. Mordecai also brews something called Uncle Morty's Insta-Lawn Kill and Undead Repellent Extra Strength Edition. It's just really funny. Mordecai gets another item named after him. They go hunting. Chapter 51. Donut gets credit for a creeper kill. Even though Carl is the one launching a imbued rock from the trebuchet they got from hunters that were attacking their city earlier. But Donut is spotting for Carl, telling him to like aim further to the left, and she gets credit for the kill. It's awesome. We early, 40 chapters ago, we were rolling around this floor scared of hunters, and now they're just like trucking around with 30 Velociraptor bodyguards in tow. And it feels very safe, except there's new threats that are even scarier, so we definitely don't want to see them go against an odious creeper directly. Prepotente gets a 7th odious creeper kill. Louis gets his 2nd. Carl is worried about the coverage and a couple of creepers near Zakau, that there are no crawlers near since all the crawlers fled away from the city very early on. And he is really worried that the hunters won't go for those creepers. They're about to kill another creeper, and they get kill stolen by the High Elves. Remember, we talked about them having their city in the corner opposite of Zakau? Yeah, they're apparently helping deal with the issue. They take note of like the elves and how strong they are and their cool mounts. And in tow, in a like a carriage, is a familiar of Queen Imogen. This creepy and lecherous little dude who monologues for a little bit, talking down to Carl and Donut, but then he starts like flirting with Donut really creepy, before firing a bolt of lightning at Mongo. Donut leaps in front of the blast, both of whom take damage but only just barely survive. Donut only survived because of Cockroach, her ability that saves her and sets her to 1 hit point.
Yes.
Carl recognizes that the showrunners of the floor are ramping up all the drama. Donut is trembling and shares that she saw who the familiar is, Ferdinand, and she is being driven to fight him. She is not trembling because she is hurt. Well, maybe she is, but she is trembling because she genuinely cares about Ferdinand, and this is someone who is being placed in her path to have to fight. This is like the thing we've been fearing all along of loved ones being put into the dungeon to fight is happening. And as she says this, Carl's river roars. The reveal of Ferdinand being the familiar of Queen Imogen feels like, well, of course it is. I'm not surprised, but it's also kind of shocking. Like, even if you saw this coming, like, it's shocking that he attacked out in the open like this.
Right. I mean, specifically Mongo, not knowing that Donut was going to jump in front of Mongo, but like the reason why he attacked Mongo was he said, you know, hey, Queen Imogen has a message for Signet. Can you pass it on for me?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's why he was there. Yeah.
And then he reaches out and he's going to kill Mongo.
Yeah.
And Donut is like, fuck no, that's my son. So yeah, it's
it's a reminder that Mongo's life is always a stake that, you know, feels like it could be that it's on the table. And it's also a reminder, the message along to Signet, that Signet and her sister, the Queen, really do not get along, and it's going to be a high point of tension here. We get at the start of chapter 52 some cookbook entries about loved ones being used in the dungeon, but it is not really them. The entry tries to remind us.
Dead is dead, gone is gone. Yeah, is what they say. Like specifically because, you know, like you think, oh, this loved one that I've been separated from, that was alive, that was a part of my life. Maybe there's a piece of them that's still alive, or that they're in there, like a shadow of them is in there, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
They're dead. They have been repurposed. They're just using their flesh.
Exactly.
And it's fucked up.
Yeah. We cut to Carl like freaking out like an overprotective parent. He wants to go down the stairs immediately to protect Donut and keep her from having to fight Ferdinand. But Donut like convinces him that she is okay, citing that I'm a mother now and I have responsibilities. I'll just have to get over it.
Yep.
Carl reflects on what remaining people in the world they could use against him. Clearly Beatrice is off the table, but his father might be someone they could use. But he's like, I don't even know if he's alive. Like, I lost track of him. Like, I don't, like, we fought when I was a teenager and I left and I don't know where he is. But Carl is really worrying about all of the other crawlers and how their loved ones might be used. I don't think you've interacted with my friend Amy, Killer Queen Amy, who I play Blood on the Clocktower with.
I have not.
But Amy is a huge fan of Survivor. There's a big crossover between people that like Blood on the Clocktower and people that like Survivor. And I have watched a couple of episodes of Survivor because Amy sometimes will do like a watch and react to Australia Survivor. And this whole situation feels like a really fucked up version of Survivor, where they wait until just near the end, or they wait until we've really gotten to know all of the competitors, and like waiting until they're really raw and drained from being away from home for like a month or two before they bring out their actual family and put them in front of them, and how it can be really emotional for them. And it feels like, even like I could see myself being like in a make or break situation where, oh my God, I've been missing my family so much and now they're in front of me and I really just want to go home, or being empowered by it. But of course the dynamics
I need to be strong
here,
for my family. I need to,
you know, or that like seeing them again could be revitalizing. But like here, there is no revitalizing seeing your loved ones, because they're here to hurt you and you are being forced to make tough choices. Katya tells Carl that she needs to talk to him about something important, and to wait before leaving, or if he decides to leave, to chat with her first. The dinosaur squad returns to Carl and Donut, and they have Big Tina with them. Now that Big Tina is no longer vampiric, she is controllable again. But Kiwi does have to stop Tina from attacking. Carl wants to kill Big Tina to end the quest easily, but Donut stops him. Carl, we can't kill her. She's Kiwi's daughter. This is Footloose, not one of your Rambo movies. This is nothing like Footloose, Donut. It's nothing like Rambo either, she said. I'm not the one who said that. You are. Exactly, Carl. It's just this nonsensical. Donut brings up Rambo, which was like, where did that come from? They're both It's nonsensical. It's very funny.
It is nonsense, but this whole next. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The AI announces that they have failed the world quest. There are 2 remaining odious creepers. Guess which 2? The hunters are not pulling their weight. Because they thought they were safe. They just wanted to ride out the rest of the floor and just go home when it's over. And that would have been all fine and dandy. But now, as a consequence to failing the quest, safe room access is now limited by something called a blood bar. As time ticks on, while in the safe room, the blood bar drains. How do you refill it? Killing things.
You go kill stuff. Yeah.
Who hasn't been killing things for a while? The hunters.
Absolutely.
Not only that, but a spell called Gehenna Bramble will spread outward from the location of the remaining creepers, covering the entire floor. We learned that hunters are ejected immediately from safe room if they haven't been killing stuff, because one just pops up in front of them. And yeah, Carl talks to this hunter. Yeah.
He monologues. He starts monologuing.
Yes. This is a drunk, another accountant, drunk hunter named Iota, who was just kicked out of a safe room and who had been partying because their families had just successfully sued to nullify the hunter contracts and get them out of the dungeon. So the hunters were all just about to leave and were partying it up, but this quest failed, and the AI has retaliated against the hunters sitting in their safe zones and the legislation, or the judicial decision, by using the quest failure as an catalyst for changing the mechanics of the dungeon, which it can do per the rules.
Right.
And thereby kicking all the hunters out of the safe room. Sure, yes, you can leave. The judge has decided that. You just have to survive until that point. So Iota shares the AI has retaliated. It says it's making its own rules now and that it is going to finish the crawl. The AI is getting a little unhinged.
We also learn in this encounter about the AI's origin.
Yes, I have some stuff here for that, and this is where I'm like, the AI is a child. So Iota distresses and complains. He's like, I'm about to die, but it's the mantis's fault. There are so many rumors out there that the mantises sold Bowen a used AI for this crawl under the table, and that makes sense. They were probably trying to save money. He bemoans the fact that the syndicate will let the AI do this. The syndicate won't intervene because they're not going to stop the crawl for fear of losing money.
Exactly.
But, and we get reinforced, the AI degeneration is happening so early. Usually this doesn't happen until the 10th floor. Like, this is the umpteenth time we've been told this. He bemoans the rich tourists on the 18th floor, who even a degenerate AI will let go at the end of the crawl, because AI are bartered with. The syndicate will allow AI to live their lives isolated as long as they let the syndicate do what they want with the crawlers and the tourists and the sponsors. Quote, them council assholes been doing this a really long time. They know what they're doing. Nobody ain't gonna really get hurt except you guys and people like me who gotta work to earn a living. Them viewers will eat it up, and Borant or whoever is holding the credit shit is still gonna make more money than all the gods combined. This is another person, working class, doing what they gotta do to survive, who is being hurt and eaten up by the system. I wrote a note the first time I read this that is still in my digital copy, and I love that I wrote it because I still think it when I get here. Is this AI going to be sane enough to care about living or finishing the crawl. This guy is stating every AI before has done this.
Good point.
Has done
But it's also, I would say, emotionally invested in the crawlers, in some of them anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, this guy's like, all AIs before this one have always done this, and that's why I'm jealous and envious of those other sponsors and viewers and the tourists on the 18th floor, because they're going to get let go. And also, this AI is unlike any other, and this crawl is unlike any other. So it's like, there's a contradiction in what you're saying, because this AI might not give a shit to let them go. The 18th floor tourists might not be safe in the end.
They might not be safe anymore.
As
yeah.
evidenced by the AI is writing its own rules. Some AI are sticklers, but this one is a drama queen. And he points out how the AI chose. Carl goes, "What do you mean? Like, it's a drama queen and it's not a stickler for the rules?" And he's like, "Look at what happened. I get kicked out, and I literally got dropped in your lap.
Happen to be
I'm someone who's known for blabbing my mouth, and I just got dumped at your feet, so I could share this information with you." And he resigns. He asks Carl to get over with it, and he's like, "I'm not even mad at you. If roles were reversed, I'd do the same thing. Like, this isn't you choosing to kill me. This is the fucked up circumstances, and you just, doing what you got to do."
It sucks, and this is why monologuing is bad, because as he's talking to this guy, Carl's like, "Man, I kind of like this dude."
Yeah. And he's like continuing to monologue, and Carl just squishes him.
Yep.
And then we get a notification that the Ring of Divine Suffering has leveled up. And I wrote, "We didn't even get told that Carl had taken the ring out." It came as a quick surprise. Chapter 54, Iota has some very interesting loot. 4 magical nipple rings.
Oh my god, Donut's so upset.
I love that along the way, Matt Dinniman has been like, okay, so we have, we need like a type of item that we can just give a lot of, and it'll explain how he gets all these different boosts. So we'll do what makes sense. Let's do rings. Rings make sense. In addition to, everything you wear on the outside of your body. Okay, we're running out of rings. Toe rings. We'll do toe rings. Okay, donut can get bangles. Okay. Okay, we're running out of rings. Patches on a jacket. That's cool. That's anarchist. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, fuck. He's gonna run out of patch room eventually. What are we? Nipple rings. I know, nipple rings.
Yeah, exactly.
And nose rings and earrings and
nose rings
and septum rings and a tongue ring. Oh man, where can we penis rings? We gotta put rings everywhere.
How can I modify his body in such a way that he is able to receive these gifts that I shall bestow upon him? Yeah. Absolutely. It's so fucking good.
Yeah. Carl remarks here that he liked this guy. We presume that Carl feels bad for him. Donut remarks that Iota wasn't even a threat. Why did we bother killing him? And Carl thinks to himself. So Carl, okay, I'm sorry. I'm doing a poor job of building up to a contradiction and an irony that I see here. So Carl is like, I liked this guy. And Donut says, why did you kill him? He wasn't a threat. And then Carl thinks to himself, you got what you deserved. Carl's telling someone that he liked that he got what he deserved? And Donut is pointing out, like, you didn't have to kill him. This guy didn't even want to fight. He was an accountant like all the other accountants we've met. And yet Carl thinks this guy got what he deserved. Is this the ring? Like, making him a little unhinged?
Maybe.
Because he has two feelings that are like in contradictory. I like this guy. I'm vindicated that he's dead. It's weird.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
I don't know what's going on, and I don't know why this is. I wonder if it's an effect of the ring. Anyway, Carl puts out a call. The hunters have been ejected from their safe rooms. Go kill them all, people. My stated goal is that every hunter that enters this floor dies. let's go hit the low-hanging fruit.
Clean them up. Yeah.
Carl and Katya chat and determine that the brambles, which fortunately are on the far corner of the dungeon near Zakao, will spread and cover the entire floor by the end of the floor. Which is where they will be at the Elf High Castle opposite of that. The bramble will reach it on the last day.
Even if they were able to reach those brambles that were near the High Elf Castle or whatever, like in the north by that, would they have actually been able to, or would they have been thwarted by the NPCs and killed, or like it was always meant to end this way?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
This was purposeful, 100%.
Yeah. Carl and Katya reflect like, okay, well, lots of crawlers should start heading down the stairwells ASAP. Because the bramble is a huge threat. Like, it's basically they can't kill it. They can slow its growth down and beat it back a little bit, but it is basically unstoppable. And they start moving towards the Elf High Castle. Signet, Serena Signet reaches out to Carl and warns him that the Dryads may summon Dewata, who again hates him for consecrating his temple. And the Dryads might do that to like summon the god to help fight the bramble, but be careful because gods can do two things at once.
Yeah, exactly.
Carl gets a potion and a cryptic note in a benefactor box from the Open Intellect Pacifist Action Network, the OIPAN. We learned from the one of the epilogue chapters that Orthis, one of the cookbook authors, is like the chief operating officer or something of the OIPAN. And the note tells him that Cersei has sponsored Dewata and instructs him to give Donut the potion while temporarily boosting Donut with Prepotente, Imani, and Samantha. It is unclear what this means, but they're setting up Donut to do something very powerful.
Yes.
And apparently Samantha, Imani, and Prepotente can have temporary boosts of spells. Imani confirms this in this chapter.
But why Samantha?
Unclear. Carl, returning to the magical nipple rings, Carl bribes Donut to install one of them. And by install, I mean pierce her nipple by offering her the potion that she doesn't know he was going to give her anyway. She responds, but you got to do yours first. And don't tell Katya. I don't want her thinking I'm a whore. Carl, in a hilarious fan service moment, pierces his own nipple and to himself thinks, ouch. That's one of those lines. Yeah. I would love to hear the Jeff Hayes delivery of.
Oh yeah.
The tough man going, ow, that hurt. So he's like, Donut, we need to install this nipple ring. It's too good to pass up. Okay, but you got to do yours first. And then he does it. And then she immediately says, I don't think I can respect you anymore, Carl.
I can't respect you. Yeah, exactly.
The AI gives him an achievement for piercing his nipple called Sex Pervert. And in that achievement, it calls him a whore.
Whores don't get rewards.
Yep. And that is how we end this arc. With a very
we've got some incredibly sad, depressing, very like emotionally heavy things, and then we've got some incredibly hilarious moments in between. This is I think something that Matt Dinniman is just completely masterful with. Like, he does a terrific job of like bouncing back and forth between like levity, finding the humor in it, and then like ripping your fucking heart out. So like, yeah, these were some really intense chapters that I tried not to read too much. I was really putting off reading them. It was really hard for me because I knew they were coming and they hurt every time. And I read the series like a bunch of times, and it never gets any easier.
Yeah. This set of chapters has like a little bit of everything. There's some really good combat. There's some really
Yes.
emotional beats. There's so much funny stuff. There's really tense mechanics and dungeon plot development. There's like, the romantic stuff even too. I mean, the nipple ring thing is kind of like a fan service smut moment. I mean, maybe.
Why
Maybe.
not?
I don't
Sure.
know. But there's also like, and I didn't mention this when I brought up the moment when Carl sees Katya like holding hands or something with Batista. He says like, I don't know how I feel about that. And we don't know about Carl's feelings for Katya. Like they grew really close and went through
True.
hell together for a
I
couple
guess, like,
floors.
from my perspective, I never read it as anything romantic, not even a little bit. More like a kid sister kind of a feeling, truly.
Sure.
From my perspective of reading it, like, and I feel like you can take what I say as far as like romantic tension is concerned to the fucking bank, my dude. Like, romance is my bread and butts.
Well,
I never picked up even a hint of romantic
yeah.
tension. You can
But
care about someone and kind of like, what's going on there?
yeah, and
Um,
I think that's what's beautiful about it is because there's a complete absence of it. Like the reader can fill that blank in if they so choose. Like
sure.
I
Oh
did,
yeah,
wondering like,
absolutely.
is this gonna, will they, won't they? Bones and
Okay.
Brennan,
Oh sure, yeah. I mean, but the sexual tension between Bones and Brennan
Angel
is
and Buffy.
undeniable. Again, sexual tension, undeniable. I wondered if it has something to do with what's his Boreanaz. Like, I think you just put
Hmm.
him in any situation, and people are like, they're gonna fuck.
They
But
go
like,
fuck.
yeah, they're gonna fuck.
um,
But no, I guess I just
yeah,
never got to me personally. I never felt any of that. It was more like I care about this person. I want this person to be okay.
yeah,
But like not like they were having any kind of groiny feelings towards
yeah,
the
yeah,
other. But I totally understand and respect what you're saying. It's up to interpretation from the reader at this point.
yeah. Um, And yeah, so it's got a little bit of everything, including the economic philosophy that I loved and ate up.
It was a lot. It was good.
It was really good, really dense. And if you are reading this and you open the page and it says Part 3, Unhinged Child, you're like, oh, that's Lucia Marr. Like that's the immediate threat. She
Huh?
wants Donut dead. They need to fight her because she's laying in wait while Carl is now teleported away. We're gonna get Lucia Marr as the unhinged child. And then like there's a fight where we kind of barely see her. And then we in the aftermath see her fight with Donut. And we see that she is still unhinged, which we've known for a long time. And we get like basically no more information about what's going on there. And then it turns out the unhinged child is not Lucia because like she's barely in these chapters. It's Prepotente, it's Carl, it's Tina.
Possibly
Uh
the AI. Honestly,
Possibly
that
the
was a great
and
point to
all of
make.
them,
Mhm.
all five of them for lots of different reasons. And not necessarily the same reasons. There's like lots of overlap, but um each different. It's really good. I like this set of chapters, and I'm very much looking
It was
forward
really good.
to part 4. Um,
Hell yeah.
yeah, so
Same.
we
It's like coming
have
to a boiling point.
yeah. Um, how many chapters is the Butcher's Masquerade? I have forgotten. Let's see if I
And I'm
can
looking
pull
at
the
it.
chapter summaries here. Okay, so we will be starting part 4, the butchering, with chapter 56 and ending with the epilogue, which is essentially chapter 78. So 22 chapters. Not too bad. That's less than this
No,
one
that's
was.
less than, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And it's a lot of action and complicated I would say heisting. Um if I got the heisty vibe. So I
Be
don't
fair to
know
say.
if our next episode is going to be as long as this one. Probably not.
I mean,
But it's still really good stuff. And I'm looking forward to
this
it.
was there was a lot going on, and I'm glad we kind of zipped through it as quickly as we did because I could talk about this set of chapters
Yeah.
for fuck
Yeah.
all night. for fucking hours.
I don't know what we're gonna do when we get to this inevitable ruin. I don't even know if like one episode per part is gonna be enough. It's so dense. Anyway, we'll get there when we get there. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. If you've made it to this video on YouTube, congratulations. We've been seeing a lot of comments in the first few videos of our Read and React of book 1, which I know upon reflection, like 10 episodes to get through one book. I think this format is much better. I did pin a comment today on the first video encouraging people that if like the lengthier format doesn't work for them to just skip ahead to the book 2 when we start really condensing. Yeah. So hopefully people make it to this video. This is, I think, some of the best stuff and some of my proudest read and react and critique, and it's good. And with that, Nova just got home. Oh, we gotta check on your paw. So I'm gonna check on my baby. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time on Read and React. Thank you and bye.